You're up in the morning, so the light outside. Gonna grab a cup of joe. Convertible down, let's go for a ride. There's a party on the radio. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wow, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Yeah. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wow, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike.
All right, good morning. Welcome in. Happy Thursday. It's Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, the Zone Radio Network, the Zone app, the Zone TV, the Zone everything, the Zone world. I'm Connor Happer alongside Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Connor. Good morning, Mike. And good morning to Argentina.
Good morning, Argentina. We are live in Argentina this morning, yes.
Good morning,
anyone.
Joey. Good morning, Connor. And good luck with that voice, Andres Cantor.
Oh, man. Wow, that was fun yesterday.
Did you actually have it on? Did you?
I did.
Yeah, it was. I had it. It was like background, and it was perfect. I got into it in the second half, saw everything that really mattered. All of it was like phenomenal viewing.
Did you watch it on Telemundo?
No, I didn't.
You idiot.
I never watched it on Telemundo.
There's accountability right there. right from the start.
You can't do accountability for Schaefer. You have to do accountability for yourself.
There's no accountability needed. I watched the match.
There's
It was great.
There's an idea for you.
I'll consider it. But
Anyone not
I
watching
did hear
that-
the clip or saw the clip of Cantor's goal on the, I think it was the second Argentina one.
Yeah, the second one
where he's clearly like he cannot hold the note because his voice is so
I didn't hear
scrambled
it.
from like just having to yell of what was an absolutely bonkers 25 minutes after England scored the goal to go up 1-0.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
It was amazing.
Very, very good. Very good soccer.
You'll find it on Awful Announcing, or you could just scroll down Telemundo.
I'm
Deport
surprised
days.
it hasn't been fed to me yet. I'm surprised.
I'll send it
Bill
over to you.
Simmons had the tweet that if you wanted to go find it during the break.
Joe, you don't have to send it to me. I want to see how long it takes for the tweet now to get fed to me. We'll see if it happens. So yeah, there you go. We have a World Cup final between Argentina and Spain, which will happen at 2:00 on Sunday in the middle of the United States.
Are we diving in on this now, or do you want to save it for later?
I don't know.
or-
Do you have takes?
I have the most important thing, which is should England go out, I needed them to go out in the most absolutely soul-crushing way possible.
Me too. I loved it.
And the cutaway shots of the fans and the two guys dressed up as basically Monty Python knights
It's awesome.
that were in the crowd
That was hilarious.
after the second goal. Oh man, the Schadenfreude that was emanating out of my house was just incredible.
Did you also see the cut to Mick Jagger just with the face palm?
No,
just
I
near
did.
the
I
very
missed the
end?
Mick Jagger cut.
Yeah, he's been at every game. He just wears like a kind of a white cap, and just after they blew that lead at the very end, you could just see the distraught in his face, just the face palm. It was hilarious.
There was like a 5-year-old at the this is after the end of it, and they were still showing like crowd shots after the game had ended. And there was a 5-year-old with like you could see he had cried, and then he had the 1,000-yard stare. And all I could think to myself is, man, what an introduction to sports pain.
Yeah.
Like you're 5 years. I don't know if he's 5. He looked 5, and you basically just felt the most crushing way to have something ripped out of your hands, trampled on in front of you, and told no. And you've basically joined this fraternity of other Englishmen and English women where this is what happens every 4 years and has for many people's lifetimes for over 50 some years.
Probably
now.
scars you for the rest of your life. If that happens to you at 5 and you've traveled to the United States to watch this,
who knows? It could have been an
potential
Americanized English fan. Who knows?
With the potential hope that they could, his favorite soccer team could win the World Cup. And they were, just a few minutes away from getting to the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it was 1-0 at the 85th minute. Then, like 7 minutes later, it's 2-1 Argentina.
And you blew
Amazing. Amazing.
So incredible.
And then he has to go throughout his life and he has to tell people, yeah, he's wearing his, Jude Bellingham jersey or something, his kit or something like that. And someone's like, yeah, you remember that one? I was in Atlanta in 2026 as well. That was great.
Do you remember when England went up 1-0 and then never possessed the ball on the other side of the field?
They basically played
down
prevent
2-1.
Defense.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
That was like, if you're Mexico, you're watching that and you're like, oh, okay. So, maybe someone can just score on England when they play park the bus defense. And Argentina had about 1 billion opportunities on top of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Like against a lesser team, they probably scored 4 times.
They actually got opportunities.
Yeah.
Where
They created them.
Yeah.
It
Mexico was just playing on their side of the field the entire time and not nearing the goal at all.
Send another cross in that no one is going to get their head on.
Right. And then the soccer games are always so crazy because you have this like anticipation that you don't know when is coming of when the final whistle is blown. And it went on for a minute or two. I'm like, are they going to let this go? Are they going to let this go? One more. And they just kept sending wild, kind of shots and try to, go near the goal. And
on Fox, the broadcaster probably said,
well, they're going to end this.
This is the last chance for England, probably 4 different times before the last chance that actually occurred, because you're guessing.
Meanwhile,
just totally guessing.
Argentina has not led after 90 minutes of any knockout round game, and they are in the final.
I saw a tweet the other day. I retweeted it. This person said Argentina in the knockout stage, goals before the 79th minute, 2. And then goals after the 79th minute, 9.
Hey, sometimes you're the team of destiny and you're really, really good and you were like a favorite to win it anyway. But like,
just amazing.
Sometimes you're kind of the team of destiny.
Oh, man.
And they might be.
Like
maybe they're UConn from a couple of years.
They're America's team
from 2011. The Kemba.
That just continued to defeat. Well, and then they just absolutely destroyed. So it's Spain potentially going to get destroyed in the World Cup final.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I probably shouldn't be surprised that this is the final, but I'm like genuinely surprised that this is the final.
If you would have told me it was Argentina, Spain at the beginning of the entire thing, I'd have been like, oh, that makes sense. If you would have told me that like 3 weeks ago, I would have said, I don't know.
The question would be, it looks like they played like particularly great but then at the end of games they have, or in Spain's case, their goalkeeper, I think, has allowed one goal in the entirety of the tournament.
I haven't taken a look, but I think people would be more shocked if they hear Argentina, Spain at the start. They just wonder what happened to France. They would have to have an epic collapse like they did against Spain.
I guess they might have.
France and England should be a fun consolation game. Who does not want to win that game?
Last night,
I think England's not going to want to win that game. They're so distraught.
Oh my God! Could you imagine having to play in that stupid game?
Why are you? Oh, that's just you're England, and you're like, oh,
good old city of Miami.
That is the worst thing ever. So there was this tweet that Josh quote tweeted last night. English Sports Talk Radio has been an incredible listen tonight. Angry hosts, despondent callers, drunk guys forcing their wives to take the phone because, quote, she knows more than the manager, Irish and Scottish people calling in and trolling the entire audience. And then we basically just made England big red overreaction. Like I said, guy from the Miami Chamber of Commerce calls in and welcomes England to Miami for the third place game. Oh my God, I'd be so pissed if I was listening to that.
Oh, this all just sounds so incredible. It couldn't have happened to a nicer country.
Get ready and get ready for, well, I guess we made our way all the way through the Big Red Overreaction schedule yesterday on Joey's predictions.
Yeah, Joey's got a lot of predictions in there.
It's predictions.
I can't remember how many he predicted me to do, but I felt like it was a lot.
I think it was 5.
Seems excessive.
I gave Matt 7.
Okay, what was everybody else's totals?
John was 4. Josh was Josh Peterson 2. Josh Odson 1. Because he'll probably have to do a random one at some point.
Okay, so the math on this would be 12, 16, 18, 19.
There's going to be a game where it's not both regular hosts. That's what's
so
going to
there's a Josh and Matt that's in there, right?
Is there an
Yeah,
odds in Matt?
Yeah, there was.
Okay.
The reason why I had it that way was I did not want to give some people 3 consecutive Big Red overreactions, and
It can happen.
uncertainty surrounding a particular zone member kind of made it a little difficult. And then conflicts, usually with the Creighton basketball schedule. I know there's only one game that's going to happen on the same day as a Nebraska football game.
Yeah.
But there's travel schedules, and you
That is true, Joey.
got to
Great
take
point.
that to consideration.
Great point. It can and it will happen. Things will change. Those are the Joey leaks, and I look forward to when the actual schedule or part of it comes out. The other thing that Joey was this is accountability to start things off. Joey was very sure yesterday that it was going to be the Knicksification of the ESPYs. And I don't know that it actually was.
They swept through the award nominations they had.
They won the one that we both agreed that they were going to win.
Yeah, the team won.
The Brunson, the best performance in the championship series.
Mhm.
Best NBA player, he won that as well. OG won the best play, and then
Okay, that one I didn't think he would win.
Yeah,
they,
so
they,
we were
they,
wrong.
Which is ridiculous.
They won 5.
I don't know how they
do
won
that over a golden goal against the superpower in Canada. In a sport,
I told you it was going to happen. They
fair.
sure do love the New York Knicks.
Joey's
Over Team America.
Joey's been doomsday prepping for the Knicksification of the world, and it's happened.
Is this the worst NBA offseason summer or NBA really summer for Joey in a while? You have a Knicks championship.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown gets
Him
traded.
having to convince himself
The
that
Celtics are
moldy
largely
ham
just
sandwich.
sort of being made fun of throughout. The
Him having
Knicks
to-
are just celebrating endlessly.
him having to convince himself that Giannis Antetokounmpo sucks for some reason.
Yeah.
I
The
did not say he sucks.
76ers.
I said it wasn't going to work with the Celtics. It wasn't going to solve their problems.
Well, now you got Paul George to solve your problems.
Yeah, playoff
Uh,
nightmare.
Awesome.
The 76ers have become a bigger threat. Everybody in the East
And
seems
they
to have
might
gotten
even-
better except the Celtics.
Yeah, they might be getting LeBron
They might be
James.
getting LeBron James.
Are the Celtics going to tank?
No,
we thought that when they didn't have Tatum. So
don't count.
yeah,
Don't count them out. Don't count them out.
they're not going to tank.
They'll
That's not what the Celtics do.
they'll be contending, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what Tatum's like when he has a full season.
This is a
And
very Celtics thing to say, but they're not going to tank because they don't tank. They're not going to tank.
No,
They don't tank.
absolutely not.
They're,
So they're going to cruise to a 7th seed in the East.
no, they're going to be at least a top 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
Guaranteed. They'll figure it out.
Whoa,
yeah,
guaranteed.
that's what they did last year.
Wow.
It doesn't matter what their roster looks like. They have the best infrastructure out of
Mhm.
anybody. But
And don't forget the most important piece on the team, Big Shot Bob.
Baylor Shireman, he's referencing, I think.
Yes.
I thought he was talking about his boy Hugo.
Have you heard about this guy? I would never trade up for
Boy
Giannis.
Hugo is going to be the star of the
you
Celtics.
people just wait. Just wait. This guy's gonna prove you wrong.
See, this is the side of the Celtics fan that I don't enjoy, but there are some truths. There are some truths about it. They have a great infrastructure, and they're going to win a lot of games just because they're the Celtics.
That
The
seems
Celtics are the
entirely
balls.
possible.
Yeah, they are. All right, so here we are on a Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. It is we're rolling our way through the slowest week in sports, and tomorrow we'll have baseball back.
Yeah.
Which is great. Not that we talk about like daily baseball stuff that happens
Hooray!
anyway, but tomorrow we'll have baseball back, which is good. Today we'll be rejoined by our dear friend Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 coming up at about 8:30. That is following I Have an Opinion. Several opinions are ready into the show, so please continue to send them throughout the show today. We'll hit those at 8 o'clock. Any way you'd like to get in touch with us, 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Call or text that number. Tweet at us at Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Mike, or Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Who's that huge guy?
And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers today, where Debo says hashtag Joey was right. And he was.
I was.
He was.
You guys need to watch the final on Telemundo. You have to. This is the time to watch it. So Andres Cantor will definitely be calling the game. He's from Argentina. When Argentina won the World Cup, he was.
So do you think he's talking? I think he's talking about the ESPYs thing.
Oh,
Yeah, he definitely was talking about the ESPYs.
That's my guess.
If that's what it was, yes.
But that's also
I
why
told you
what
so.
Joey said was funnier.
Agreed completely. So maybe in order to pay you back, in order to
Let's just say I'm right on both things. Telemundo is better soccer coverage than your normal Fox television.
Oh, I've never disagreed. I'm sure it is.
Just watch it. You don't need to.
I don't listen. I'm not listening at all. It doesn't matter what language it's in. I'm not listening.
I've now just put it together that on Sunday I've been invited to, like, a friend of mine is having some families over and he's smoking some meat and hosting. And he's the biggest soccer person I know. And his wife like put this whole thing together. And I don't know that it has clicked with him that this is also going to be during like the World Cup final.
Yeah. Does he know to turn it on Telemundo?
Well, I'm going to have to ask him to put on Telemundo. And so I don't think it'll be a tough sell for him. He might actually already watch games.
Good luck with that, Dan.
But it's more so I haven't checked with him to see if he's like put this all together and then how annoyed he's going to be when it's like he's not even going to be able to watch because he's going to be doing everything else while hosting.
Yeah. Soccer for me, it's not a sit down and watch thing. So his situation seems fine. Yeah.
This is a guy that I met up with at what's the bar in Benson, the soccer bar that all the Arsenal fans would be at. St. Andrews? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was the one that I met up with there a
bars in
few months
Benson.
ago, and biggest soccer person I know. And his wife has committed him to hosting a gathering on Sunday.
It happens. It happens. It's the summer. You got to sacrifice some things. Also, we have the Open Championship on right now. This is weird. It's sunny. What's going on?
It's going to be really brown looking from what I'm told.
Is this some sort of a fake thing? What's going on? Why is it sunny? I can see the blue sky.
I think conditions are supposed to be really good.
Where's this
at? Clearly, I've never seen
like the
this
whole
before.
weekend, not just like a one-day thing.
Shocking. I've never seen this before.
Where in the UK is this at?
This is Birkdale.
Royal Birkdale.
Okay.
It's always cloudy.
154th.
At the British Open, it's always cloudy. I
Playing
know.
for the Crystal Chalice.
Accountability. Put it in this segment. Would you guys agree that it is never sunny at the British Open? Any thoughts on that?
Generally, it's gloomy. Would be the nicest way to put it.
I was just gonna say it's always gloomy when you go to Britain.
There you go. All right. So
even though I've not been there,
we are watching that today, and we have a variety of other things. But get your opinions in for I Have an Opinion coming up in just a little while in under 2 hours. Other things today, we have some Nebraska football stuff, of course, to get to. We didn't get to that hot seat list from yesterday, so we can definitely do that. Another Adam Brenneman thing, which is cool.
Okay.
Thank you, Adam Brenneman, for the content. Tim Miles stops by Nebraska ball practice.
Whoa.
And John Rothstein puts out his preseason Big Ten basketball rankings. And people on the Nebraska ball corner of the internet felt slighted. We'll get to that. I have some Anthony Calandria numbers that I have some takeaways from. We will get to that. Also, tomorrow, we are cooking up our all-century teams because we've seen 26 years of Nebraska football in the century.
Wouldn't it be 25? We're going into 26. Or I guess 2000. Yeah. So, yeah.
But we're still doing it because it's July. So we're doing that tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And I'm sure there will be some accountability as far as that is concerned as well. Once again, 402-951-1620. Feel free to get in touch with the show any way you'd like to today. Get in those opinions for I Have an Opinion coming up at 8 o'clock. We're rocking and rolling. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. 624 here on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola with us this morning. So we do have a World Cup final. We have baseball starting back up tomorrow. We have the ESPYs, which wrapped up last night. I did watch. I caught a little bit of it. Probably not enough to have a full-on opinion about it. But Marcelo Hernandez, the guy from SNL, maybe a little nervous or something. I didn't think he was particularly himself or funny last night. So that's my take on the host. Everybody's got to have a take on the host.
I got no take on the host. I don't.
You don't
really
even know who
he
Marcelo
is.
Hernandez is,
Right? I miss the ESPYs in its
You
entirety.
don't watch SNL?
I watch like clips of it. It's one of these things where very rarely am I ever catching a full episode. I like it. I don't know that I care enough about it that I carve out the time for it in the way that seemingly you or Josh Hodgson do.
Oh, I don't. I mean, I just flipped it on because it was the only thing on last night. So I watched it and
Yeah, but I mean the SNL in general, like when their season's
I
going
thought
on
you were
during
talking
the
about the
year,
ESPYs,
you're
yeah.
usually paying attention to it.
Yeah,
you seem
I'll
to
try
be very in tune with whoever the people for each season.
I do like to see who the young comedians are, and Marcelo Hernandez has been on there for a long time, but he's a young guy. But he was fine last night. I don't know if they'll run that back with them or whatever they do. Not that anybody actually cares about this, but there were some funny parts, and we had the awards getting announced all throughout the night, including the award for best athlete, which went to, well, let's actually find out, from Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, who won the award for best athlete.
And the ESPY award goes to, check this out, Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei could not be here tonight. He sends his gratitude and appreciation to ESPN and everyone who voted for him.
So that was one of the Paul brothers. I don't know which one it is, Logan
It's
or Jake.
Jake.
Okay,
It's Jake.
thank you. And then at the tail end of the clip, you could see Mike Tyson mouth to Jake Paul, "Wow, he's a guy." But I'm glad that we have this forever.
Shohei Ohtani.
The little chuckle at the end of it, like after the Shohei Ohtani, the like Mike Tyson chuckle is really.
And the ESPY award goes to, check this out, Shohei Ohtani.
Like Mike Tyson does that a lot, where he'll answer a question and then like there's a little bit of a pause and then.
On the next episode of Mike Tyson Mysteries.
Oh man.
Shohei Ohtani.
You know how like the whole one of one or built different or
Yes.
whatever, there will never,
Nope.
and I mean never,
That's it.
be anyone like Mike Tyson ever again.
Nope.
Ever. Like absolutely ever. From the sheer dominance of what he was as a boxer to all of the just sort of weird ways that life has played out for him since his boxing career, even during his boxing career, the legal troubles, the tigers that he's owned,
Mhm.
the fact that his cameo in your movie, The Hangover,
That's
is
right.
like maybe one of the greatest sports cameos that's ever existed.
Has to be. That's a great tiers list.
Yeah, I mean he's that would get really interesting. And I don't know that anything's beating the Mike Tyson showing up and
Doing the In the Air Tonight drums. Probably not. Probably not.
yeah.
Yeah.
He is such a unique individual. There's just nothing or anyone that will ever come to that level of absurdity.
It's funny because he'll like clearly, if you ask him, he'll clearly show up to things.
Yeah.
He doesn't, I don't know if he knows what he's doing or where he's at or like, but you're asking him to show up as Mike Tyson with hopefully the knowledge of, I actually don't, can you just go up here and say some stuff? And maybe it's better if he doesn't actually know what's going on. So the fact that he didn't know, number one, who Shohei Ohtani was, number two, how to say his name, or number three, that he's a guy, is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
And the ESPY award goes to, check this out, Shohei Ohtani.
I gotta say, check this out as a drop.
Check this out.
That's a good drop.
That is a good drop.
There needs to be like 4 drops that came from the first 8 seconds of this sound.
Joe, you're younger than both of us, and Happer's even younger than I am. Like, what is Mike Tyson? Like, you mentioned the Mike Tyson Mysteries, the animated show.
Yeah, what do you know Tyson from? That's an interesting question.
No,
Hangover mostly, right?
No, I know him from just understanding how great he is as a boxer, just watching his highlights, just what he's meant to the world of boxing in general.
I definitely know him as a weirdo, not the fighter killing machine that he was.
And that too, just being a weirdo, also just trying to rip off an ear of an opponent one time, just doing the most pretty much the most crazy things you could think of. And then obviously that show he did with Norm Macdonald on Adult Swim, Mike Tyson Mysteries.
It definitely
such a great show.
His weirdo-ness has definitely overshadowed how awesome of a boxer he was.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like, he was the best in the world for a stretch of time where it seemed inconceivable that he could lose, and then he ends up losing, and then
check this out.
His career sort of goes the way that it does. But it was like a massive deal when he would have a fight. Like, I remember that from the net. I remember like SportsCenter, their lead-in stuff would be the biggest stuff that was going on, and like Tyson Holyfield was always, and this is before the ear bite.
Oh yeah,
a huge deal. And then as a kid, Mike Tyson
you had to check
Punch
this out every time.
Like Mike Tyson Punch Out was one of the best video games
That's
on
right.
the Nintendo system and everything. And so The Simpsons like honored him with his own sort of character named Dredrick Tatum that would show up throughout. So he just a total iconic cultural figure in such
you use iconic.
Yeah, I mean, he is. I think this is like the appropriate use of iconic.
He is iconic.
He's so special. Nothing like this.
So unique.
And the ESPY award goes to, check this out, Shohei Ohtani.
Check this out. Like, what was so cool about that? He opened up whoa, check this out. So
for me, it's a chuckle. Like it's a little laugh.
Every award.
I'm telling you, just watch videos of Mike Tyson Mysteries, and he's just absolutely that way. He just the way he delivers his character on the show. It's pretty much his naturalness.
I did not know that this existed. So yeah,
you got to see some clips. You got to see some.
You've never
clips.
heard of Mike Tyson Mysteries?
I've never heard of it.
It's worth your time.
Yeah,
it really is.
It
no,
is.
I haven't seen that.
No, I haven't. Oh, it's an animated deal.
Yeah.
It's kind of their spinoff of Scooby Doo.
Interesting. All right, one more time.
And the ESPY award goes to, check this out, Shohei Ohtani.
So good. Thank you. That's the only thing the ESPYs are really good for. Also, ESPN, they're still doing their E60s. So I was, and what they're doing is, I don't know if this is purposeful or what, but they're posting like either significant clips from them or the entire things on like Instagram Reels / TikTok or whatever. So I watched one on Barry Bonds last night. They did one about Barry Bonds and how, the early part of his career and then how the 98 home run chase made him angry. And then he did a bunch of steroids and then hit a bunch more home runs. And just sort of like a profile and a look back at that entire thing. And I was like, I don't think we've heard enough. I don't think we've told the story of Barry Bonds enough. It's weird. Like
mostly through him because he had made himself largely inaccessible
definitely
throughout his career, or just difficult to work with.
They get into that. He's like he's had grown this reputation of just being a jerk. And I believe his quote on it was, somebody asked him why are you doing it? And he was just like, it's gone. I couldn't reverse it. I couldn't stop it. I was a jerk, for a stretch of time, and then I couldn't stop. And so I was just like, I don't care what people think about me anymore.
The phrasing of the 1998 home run chase made him mad. Is unintentionally hilarious.
That's the short story of it.
Everyone else is, whoa, this is amazing. Barry Bonds, I don't like this.
Barry Bonds would do so many more steroids if he saw
Shohei Ohtani
today.
He might. He very well might.
He would.
Now that would have been a fun all-time matchup. Shohei Ohtani pitching to Barry Bonds.
Yeah, it would have been.
That would have been fun.
I think Barry probably would have won.
Barry generally didn't lose a lot of matches.
Nope, no, he did not. So that was good. But maybe we need to hear, because Barry Bonds is ultimately he's going to end up becoming one of those kind of not forgotten about, but we talk about the legends of the game, and there's those 5 or 8 or 10 names that you talk about, and he's the all-time home run leader, and he's not one of those.
Does it seem like a generation removed from those who watched him play will ultimately be like, it's idiotic this guy isn't recognized more in the sport of baseball?
I hope that generation thinks that.
I do too, because he's unquestionably the greatest left-handed hitter of all time.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know that there's a case for anybody else.
He was absolutely and definitively my favorite player.
He was a Hall of Famer before the, use of anything. He was, his swing is incredible. His control of the strike zone is incredible. The ability to meet the moment where it's just like you'd have the game on. You're like, Barry Bonds is up. I wonder what's going to happen. And he still always came through with the home when he was pitched to. When they stopped pitching to him, it was a lot less fun.
And it was during. So I hope the younger generation, like maybe one day they'll find out about the '98 home run chase, or maybe one day they'll find out about all the things that happened in the 2001 season. Or
I definitely don't want Sammy Sosa either, another guy to just disappear, because what he meant to baseball was huge too in that moment as well. And so somebody posted the video of him. It was on the 4th of July, I think, running out with the flag after 9/11. Incredible image.
2001 was a crazy season, just a crazy time.
Yes, it was.
It's a lot of
reasons.
A lot of things happened.
It absolutely was a crazy time,
including Bonds hitting 1 billion home runs.
And Matt wasn't alive yet.
Matt was not alive. People forget that. But Josh Peterson's favorite World Series happened that year.
Oh, is that his favorite World Series?
The 2001 World Series.
Wow.
Yeah. He references it a lot.
Oh, it's coming up on the 25-year anniversary Twitter account. That's for sure.
That's true. D'Lo writes in, did Babe Ruth hit left-handed? He did.
Yeah. Babe Ruth was left-handed.
Barry Bonds greater than Babe Ruth?
Yeah. Is this like a real thing?
I think, well, he did a winky face, so I think he's trying to maybe
okay. Ted Williams was left-handed too.
A lot of left-handed people were left-handed.
We can go through the list of incredible left-handed hitters. I'll take Barry Bonds.
How about Shohei Ohtani?
He's left-handed.
He is left-handed, but he throws right-handed.
I know. Very confusing.
Very interesting. All right, we'll pop open Phil Steele's magazine and do our preview after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, don't forget Storm Chasers night tomorrow with 1620 The Zone. Also, it's Everything Nebraska night. Come on out and watch some ball, and we'll be out there. We'll probably stay for a majority of the game, hang out, have a couple brewskis. Come on out and join us at Warner Park tomorrow. First pitch is at 7 against Lehigh Valley. I think some of us are throwing first pitches. I genuinely don't know who. So we'll find out all together.
It's
tomorrow.
a beautiful mystery.
So maybe get in your seats early if you want to see the disaster. All right. So I say, by the way, we do this segment every day where we flip through the Phil Steele magazine, but the tiny little balls decide which page we go to. So we have to check this out a little bit right here. All right. So let's do 3 today, and then we'll go from there. The first 3, 32, 47, and 15.
So
94. Yep.
90. Well, I feel like we've been in that cat. We've been in the 90s and early 100s a lot. So I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, we've been in the 90s once.
This have we talked about the Ohio State Buckeyes?
No, we haven't.
No, we haven't.
I would love to talk about the
That
Ohio
is
State Buckeyes.
94 today. The Ohio State Buckeyes with boring Julian Sand at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what Phil Steele has to say as we take a look at the preview here. They have arguably the top offense in the country and maybe the most overall talent. So, as usual, are a national title contender and should earn a 6th playoff berth in the last 8 years. So, Ohio State's schedule is a little bit more interesting this year than last. Last year, it felt like they kind of was able to breeze through everything until they played Indiana in the Big Ten championship game. Here, they're at Texas, second game of the year in between 2 MAC teams, Ball State to open, Kent State after. And then starting Big Ten play, Illinois at home, at Iowa on October 3rd, which will be an interesting game. Maryland at home, at Indiana on October 17th. The same weekend, Nebraska plays at Oregon. Then they have a bye week. And then they are at USC on Halloween. They return home on November 7th for Oregon. Then they have Northwestern. Then they travel to Nebraska and finally finish up at home against Michigan.
It's a really difficult 3-game stretch there with back-to-back roadies at USC and Indiana, USC in order, and then coming back home to play Oregon off of that. There
3
is
games in 4 weeks.
There is a bye week after the Indiana game, so that's important before they go out to the West Coast. But yeah, that's a challenging stretch of time there. I would say, so let's just say Texas, USC, Indiana, Oregon, Michigan. Not that there's other.
Iowa or Michigan is kind of the 5th.
Iowa could potentially get them. I don't probably think Nebraska could get them, but getting close to that territory, I suppose. So 5 teams, 5 potential losses, let's just say. They could probably lose 3 of them and be in the hunt still.
Yeah, I think they could be a 9-3 team with that schedule and potentially still be a playoff team.
And that's what the sportsbook says as well. Their win total is at 9.5 this year, which is at least a full win lower than what it regularly is for Ohio State. So I do think they'll sort of find their way to just kind of ram through people with their brute force. But they are. I don't believe they're going to be this high-powered, high-flying offense. So that takes away some of their margin for error. They do, however, have the best wide receiver, potentially the best player in the country, in Jeremiah Smith, and a quarterback who's completely okay at getting him the football.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're going to be bad on offense. They're just not going to be terribly explosive like some of their championship teams have over the years. Their defense is going to be awesome.
Yeah, unless things like dramatically changed under Arthur Smith, who's now their offensive coordinator. And then they have Matt Patricia as their defensive coordinator. So they're set up in a really unique way. But that schedule is going to be a challenge for them. I was looking at their roster. I did not know that their running back expected to be Bo Jackson. Yeah. For some reason, that caught me by.
You don't remember him from last year?
No, I really don't. I didn't watch a ton of Ohio State last year.
He was like their best. I thought he was their best guy in the limited opportunities that he got.
Yeah.
Like he was their most explosive, kind of electric guy. He's a freak.
And it's the last 2 games of their season, the offense was shut down by Indiana and Miami. And so you didn't see a ton of creativity, explosion, or anything in it. And so and then I watched them play Texas. So basically 3 of their worst performances, because the rest of their schedule, I did watch some of the Michigan game too. The rest of their schedule, they just handled everybody, but we're sitting kind of in the 30-point range.
Yeah, I think they're really pretty similar.
The
to what
defense,
they were.
I think, is good.
Obviously, yes. Their defense is incredible, and it will be incredible again this year. D'Lo writes in, can Ohio State at 9-3 make the playoff? Yes.
I think they can.
Yes, I think they can.
Sort of depends on how the rest of those, like if Oregon and Indiana and Texas are all unquestionably playoff teams and you get a win there and you lose to USC, who's another playoff team, like I think you're going to get in still.
Yeah, and if we're assuming that one of those losses is to Texas, which I'm a bit dubious about, but let's just say one of the losses is to Texas, they could still make the conference title game with 2 Big Ten losses too, and then find their way in from that.
Because so many of those teams, Oregon, Indiana, and Ohio State, all play each other. So there's
there's going to be a
just
carnage.
a potential for a lot less likely to have 2 undefeated teams. You can't really. It'd be shocking if that happened.
Yeah. So let's multiply 94 by 2 and see where we end up.
Joey's at 188.
Yes, it is.
188 looks like it takes us inside the Big 12.
Oh, yes.
Where we will go to a team that I haven't thought about at all. Arizona State.
Nice.
It's the 96 Fiesta Bowl with David Boston and Jake Plummer and Pat Tillman, I think, was in that game as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So Arizona State, Sam Leavitt gone. Cutter Boley is going to be their quarterback this year. Here's what Phil Steele has to say. ASU has to battle a London trip and face Texas A&M in the non-con. They have 4 tough
they have to battle
Big
a London
12
trip?
road games. I know they won the Big 12 in 24 with no expectations, but I think they'll have a tough time matching last year's 8-win total.
Did you know this? They play Kansas at Wembley?
I didn't know it. No. That's battling London.
I literally am just learning about this right now.
Yeah, no clue.
And that's the week after they play Texas A&M in the non-con.
Yeah, so they're scheduled Morgan State to start, Texas A&M. Then, as you mentioned, going to London to play Kansas. Bye week, Baylor at home, Hawaii at home. Texas Tech, they're October 17th, Texas Tech. 24th of October, Kansas State. Then BYU. Then Colorado. Then UCF. Oklahoma State. Finish up against Arizona. That is a challenging schedule.
So I'm trying to figure out if the Big 12 does their own like preseason media poll. I don't think they do. They did that stupid coaches poll where nobody voted for Texas Tech out of spite, which was pretty funny. But AZ Central did a Big 12 preseason poll and had Arizona in at 8th. So about halfway through. Above them, K-State, TCU, Arizona, Houston, Utah, BYU, Texas Tech. There seems to be a consensus that Texas Tech and BYU are the best 2, and then it's kind of like a grab bag after that, outside of the worst 3, which seems to be West Virginia, Colorado, and Iowa State in no order. And then there's a big old jumble in the middle. Arizona State's win total, according to the sports books, 6.5 at the moment. Man, that going to Texas A&M in week 2 is sort of that's really tricky.
It's a tough game.
They're going to lose that game. And then, going to Wembley, they have the week off after they play Kansas. But I mean, whether Kansas is good or not, they're going to at least challenge you, I think, a little bit. They go to Texas Tech, they go to BYU. Those are the toughest 2 teams in the conference. And then, of course, they finish with Arizona at the end of the year. This is a bowl team. Just judging off of looking right now, this is a bowl team. Is it an 8-win team? I don't know that I see that.
Yeah, and they're going to need. I mean, Cutter Boley comes from Kentucky. He's going to have to play well right away. They do have another transfer quarterback in Mikey Keene. So if it doesn't go well with Cutter Boley, and then old friend alert, you remember
Omarion Miller? Yeah, I was just going to say that. I
Yeah.
thought he ended up there. Yeah. Who's their running back?
Their running back, I believe it is Demarius Robinson,
Okay,
and excuse me, Kyson Brown Jr.
Okay,
is slated.
Kyson.
Check this out.
What a strange decision. from an editorial perspective.
Okay, what did you do now?
He just put a picture of a running back that then he doesn't mention at any point.
Love it. I love it.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Check this out.
Check this out. Sweet. Arizona State. That's our next one. Should we squeeze in one more?
Let's get one more in here.
Times it by 3, go to 282.
One more group of 5 team. We got about a minute and a half. Let's do it.
We look like we're hitting into the Sun Belt again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have we talked about the James Madison Dukes?
No.
Nope.
No, we haven't.
All right, James Madison, they have to once again replace a coach. Bob Chesney out. He's at UCLA. The coach now?
Who is it?
Who is it? It's none other than Lafayette's and Florida's, and now James Madison's Billy Napier.
Oh, that's
Check
right.
this out.
Yeah, check this out.
I do
Billy
not
Napier.
expect another 4-4 Sun
Shohei
Belt Conference
Ohtani.
season like they had last coaching change and all, but one of my sets of power rankings calls for double-digit wins, so they are a playoff contender again.
Oh, James Madison going back to the playoff, according to Phil Steele. Interesting.
So notable players: George Pettaway, returning at running back. He let's see if we can find some numbers here for him. George Pettaway, not that notable. He had 195 yards. Phil Steele does some interesting things. They lost a lot of their players from last year, so they're going to have to a lot of their production, I should say, offensively. You have new, basically, starters at quarterback, wide receiver.
So the Pettaway guy, he ran for almost 1,000 yards in 2024, but he was he had a lesser season last year. He's a transfer from North Carolina. There you go. There's James Madison, ladies and gentlemen.
Check this out.
We will take a quick timeout. We'll come back 7:00 hour after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, 7 o'clock, Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola with you on this Thursday morning. Stay tuned and listen up. If you hear Harry Carey say, "Hey, everybody," then you will be reminded to head to our website, 1620 The Zone, where you can enter in the Road to Wrigley contest. The Road to Wrigley, more like the sky to Wrigley, because we're going to send you there in an airplane, which is great. It's not your own airplane. It's just a regular old airplane. And you get tickets to Nebraska, Missouri at Wrigley Field. This is volleyball, folks. Sunday, September the 6th, 2-night hotel stay in downtown Chicago and 150 extra bucks on top of all of it. So enter on our website right now, 1620thezone.com, if you want a chance to win that. Yesterday, at the end of the show, we saw this hot seat rankings from CBS Sports. Folks, I love the hot seat rankings from CBS Sports because it's a staple of, you could set your calendar to it. I love things that you could set your calendar to.
Kind of like the coach rankings.
The coach
like they always do.
The coach salaries from USA Today, and the hot seat rankings from CBS Sports, which is great. So, refresher course. There is a 1 to 5 rating system with like decimal points that some coaches get. Not all coaches get decimal points, but whatever. If you are a 0 to 1, you are untouchable. Before 1, everything before 1. If you are a 0 or everything before 1, you are untouchable. 47 coaches fall in that category this year. 47 untouchable coaches is kind of wild. 1 to 2, for all intents and purposes, 2, safe and secure. 48 coaches in that category. 2 to 3, all good for now. All good, ... for now. I'll say this is where Matt Rule was last year. 3, in between 3 and 4 is pressure is mounting. There are 14 coaches there. In between 4 and 5 is start improving now. There are 3 coaches there. It's getting very serious. And then, of course, number 5 is the literal hot seat. Win or be fired. So, based on what you know about Matt Rule's situation and all the things in between, what do you think Matt Rule's spot is on this hot seat rankings? Where do you think he's at?
I think we kind of went over it briefly yesterday, but he's.
Don't think we did.
Oh, okay. Well, I would guess going into it, he'd be in the low 3s. He is at exactly a 3.
3, which is once again, pressure is mounting,
which is probably fair. It's one of those where it's like, it's either like a 2.9 or a 3. So you're splitting hairs, you know. The 2.9 would put him in the, what's the name of that category? All good for now, which there's at least a portion of the fan base that's definitely not all good. The for now part, I guess, would stick, but the rest of it. So there's definitely some pressure mounting. I think a 3 is probably appropriate. I was trying to figure out, so I found 1 5. I'm trying to find all the 5s. Luke Fickell at Wisconsin is a 5.
Definitely.
Who else is a 5? I was trying to do about doing the search.
Yeah, well, you can't sort it. The other 5 is Mike Norvell.
Okay. Are there 3 of them? Yeah, that one makes sense. It says there's 3.
Okay. Well, we'll go find the other. We'll go find the other 5. So Luke Fickell.
Nope. Okay. That's not what I thought it was.
Mike Norvell. And that's all that I see on the list. There's a couple that are above 4, or there's one, I guess, that is above 4. So maybe that's what they're counting in this situation. Shane Beamer is a 4.3.
Well, and Michael Loxley is a 4.9. Maybe they're rounding that up to 5.
Yeah, not like I said, not everybody gets the decimal points. A lot of coaches did get the decimal points, but Matt Rule is at a straight up 3 at this point, which I think is, like you said, I think that's relatively accurate. Conversely, take a look at, well, I guess similarly, I should say, you look at Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is a 3.1.
They're not going to fire Deion. They're just not. Like, they're just waiting for him to say that he's stepping away. And then it now feels like it's set up for Brennan Marion to potentially just take over and try to continue what is happening there. That would be the sort of logical conclusion as to what happens at Colorado. But if it goes so poorly, maybe you can't go that route.
Yeah. I think pressure is definitely mounting, though. That's an accurate way to put it.
I think there's like a, hey, we thought it was going to go better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And you're now, about to start your fourth year, and it doesn't seem likely that they're going to win 6 games.
So you don't think that he could ever even get to a 5, probably?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think he's gone before then.
Probably.
I have this feeling it also sort of happens. He just could quit in the middle of the year because he's Dion, and why wouldn't he?
Certainly.
I don't know. I don't see that one playing out. I was curious with Ohio State. What do you think Ryan Tay's at?
2.
He is at 0.8.
Yeah.
So it seems about right. I never know with a place like that. That's always curious. And then Kalen DeBoer, who just signed that extension, he is at a 3.
Kalen DeBoer is at a 3.
Matt Rule, Kalen DeBoer handshake meme.
Lincoln Riley, 3.8, up from 3.3 from a year ago. Pressure definitely mounting in that situation, getting very, very close to dangerous territory.
I think that's fair.
Bill Belichick is a 4.1. Are they going to fire Bill Belichick? I guess I don't know.
Do they just leave him in Ireland?
Is my dear friend Bubba Cunningham, can he do it?
He might have to do it.
He was really weirded out when I asked him for a picture with his forehead a couple weeks ago.
He was weirded out by his own bit.
I don't know if he was. That might be an inappropriate way to describe it, but he
unprepared.
He was unprepared and not as enthusiastic as I wanted him to be about me asking him to take a picture of his forehead.
Should have been more enthusiastic.
Mike Loxley is a 4.9. That is one of the highest in the Big Ten. Obviously, we talked about Luke Fickell, who is sitting at a 5 as well. It'll be interesting to see, where some Big Ten coaches end up at the end of this year as well. We've had some turnover, quite a lot of it in recent years over the last 3 or so. So we'll see where all this stuff ends up. But I don't think that's anything out of line as far as Rule is concerned. And if we're talking about a 3,
what's our guy Signetti at? They didn't even put a number down for him.
He's just not impossible to put him on this list. Even
they just put the average in there, the parentheses. They gave a number. That's great. Kalani Sitake's at a 0.3. That was the other lowest one that I'd seen so far.
Brett Key is at 0.1.
Okay. Yep. You're not going to fire Brett Key.
When did they start adding the decimal points to this?
Probably in the last couple of years.
I don't feel like this was ever
wanted
a
the degree of difference between the beginning of a pressure is mounting to where Lincoln Riley might be on the pressure is mounting.
I feel like the decimal point should be taken away.
You don't like the decimal
No,
points.
I think you have to have a stance. Okay, pick one. Are you 3 or are you a 4? Don't say they're a 3.5. That's not fair.
I don't know. Do you think 4.9 is not a stance when it relates to Mike Loxley?
Just say 5.
just round it up. What if you had a half decimal? Would you be okay with that?
Sure, I am okay with that. But then if that was the case, then just go 1 through 10 and then use the numbers. I'm
almost surprised that they haven't just expanded it that way. That seems like that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, if you want to talk about how there's different layers inside the layers, just explain the layers.
Because then you put Matt Rule at a 6, and I think people would largely agree with that.
D'Lo writes in, what tier is ridiculous recent contract extension keeps him safe regardless of performance?
Don't think that they have a carved out tier specifically for that. Otherwise, it'd still continue to be Kalen DeBoer and Matt Rule handshake.
It is a factor in the number, though. It has to be.
It's definitely a factor in the calculus that I have that nothing's going to happen until the end of the 2027 season at the very earliest. But so is the fact that I just don't see I don't see the bottom falling out. So that's also why I think that. It's
so funny that people always say that, and every time I'm just like, I don't know. I know what you're saying, and I'm not against that idea that the contract buyout is very prohibitive to what they're doing. But man, if it gets bad, there's going to be some movement. There's going to be some movement.
I don't like,
and people are going to be working against it like a lot. So I don't like. I just I would say take it 1 year at a time. For those of you, for the people who have said, well, I just don't think anything could happen until after 2027, no matter what. Maybe you end up being right, but if it goes horribly this year, I don't know. Watch out.
yeah, well, a lot of it is I don't think it's going to go horribly. Like I don't think
Sure.
they're going to. I famously
does
feel
go
like the
horribly?
floor of their ceiling is 5-7. Yeah, I mostly at that point I'd be curious as to how it went horribly. Like, how do they not win any conference games? Like that's basically what has to happen here, and
That would be bad,
be really bad,
and
yeah.
he should get fired for that.
Yeah, and I just
regardless of the buyout.
I don't see it happening. So the part of it is I have to like tell myself, okay, this is the end result. You know that they go 3-9. It doesn't make any sense to you that this happened. I would think he would be fired at that point.
Me too. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I just don't go there because it's not going to happen.
I don't think it seems likely. No,
Definitely not likely.
I don't think it seems likely at all. Nathan on YouTube wonders where Dabo Sweeney is.
He's a 3.1.
He's a 3.1. He's just 0.1 above Matt Rule.
Marcus Freeman at a 0.5 seems way higher than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Which obviously a 0.5 is not even a full number.
I don't know that I didn't really register that one on my radar.
But it seems like it's, that's where you get into the decimal thing. Like it should either just be a 0 or a 1. And so if, a guy like Marcus Freeman, like you would have to have some sort of massive scandal that would result in it because they might have the most talented team in the country this year. So even if they go like 7-5, I don't think they're going to fire.
You should always save room for the potential massive scandal that we don't know about. Just leave a 0.5 in there for a barrier.
Do you think they moved Kyle Whittingham up for Michigan on the off chance that there's a massive scandal because it's just Michigan?
Where is Kyle Whittingham?
He's a 1.5.
So I said this. I think I said this on the podcast that came out today, I suppose, which is like 12 minutes ago. So
how do you get these done during the break?
It's truly amazing. But Kyle Whittingham is definitely like a placeholder coach, right? Is there a world where Kyle Whittingham is there in 4 years?
I was thinking 3 years and he's out.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't know.
And he is supposed to be the stabilizer. They're going to get a new athletic director. It seems like they're going to have all these different changes, and the culture is going to change. And Kyle Whittingham is going to be the stabilizer guy, and then he's going to quit in 3 years. That's my guess as to what's going to happen.
You think he quits, or you think they just move on?
He's going to retire.
Well, retire or retire?
He's going to actually retire.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 4 years, he'd be 70.
Yeah. He's old.
Yeah, I'm with you. 3 years is what I had in my head. When they hired him, it was immediately like, hey, this guy is just supposed to put this place at just an even level. And
so
then
he's not going to get
off.
fired. Like even if they go 7-5 the next 2 years, he's not going to get fired. He's just going to sit there, and they're going to have to deal with all this crap, all this fallout from all this different stuff. And Kyle Whittingham will just be there saying all the right things, eating the bleep for everyone and getting paychecks, and then he'll retire in 3 years.
I think if they went like 7-5 and 6-6, or 7-5 and 7-5, maybe after year 2, they would move on from it. The bigger the inside of Michigan question of it as well, because there's all of these sort of rumblings or whatever about like Bryce Underwood. I am there's some real DJ Lagway potential there of it just goes so bad that like he's just not at Michigan. And then I'm kind of curious what the rest of that looks like, because it feels like so much of this year is, hey, we need DJ to I just called him DJ. We need Bryce to take this next step. Can Kyle Whittingham and his offense do that for him?
Yeah, no.
I don't know. He has won a bunch of games with guys that are uber athletic that aren't like traditionally great quarterbacks at Utah.
If he leaves, I don't think it's like they'll go back to having a regular, a regular standard quarterback and not try to do whatever they were trying to do with him and win enough games. They'll push people around physically and be talented and win 8 games.
I think they're going to do that regardless. Yeah. But like I think through his history at quarterback, and a lot of them for Kyle Whittingham are just good college quarterbacks that you don't really think of a lot. Like Cam Rising was his guy
awesome
forever, and So like they'll find somebody like that to replace Bryce Underwood. I mean, I guess surprised that Bryce Underwood finishes his career at Michigan.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate, I guess. I mean, I don't know about surprise, but I could definitely see him leaving for sure.
Yeah, I think it's more likely he leaves Michigan than he ends up as an all-conference player at Michigan. We'll put it that way.
Somebody wondered about Kirk Ferentz. He's at a 0.8 on the hot seat coach rankings. So he is not getting fired anytime soon.
David Braun is at a 2.5, which seems high.
Wow. They're not going to fire
I'm offended
David
on
Braun.
behalf of David Braun. What about my guy, Willie Fritz? Is he at a negative? No, he's at 0.7.
You love Willie Fritz.
I love Willie
Let's
Fritz.
take a phone call. Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline. Here's Nate. What's going on, Nate?
Oh, my friends, good morning. You got me early today.
Yeah, well, welcome.
So, I had to get up and get some hash browns, man. God is good. We're good. So, first, a question and then a couple philosophical musings on this matter. One, if the 27 class does not look like the 27 class, doesn't rule it like screamingly hot seat at this point?
If the 27 class doesn't look like the 27 class, what do you mean? It goes away?
I mean,
if they don't have Trey Taylor, basically?
You're right. Well, I mean, if they don't have loaded with high-end 4-star talent, I mean, like, to me, there's a light at the end of the tunnel that helps Rule survive what he's survived and will continue to survive, because first philosophical musing, this is getting eerily similar to 2005, right? And it's interesting because if you look at what Bo did and the turnaround that Bo orchestrated, 2009, 1 second on the clock was all 2009 recruiting results was the 2005 recruiting class. So, I mean, I would go so far, and I want you to know I did not favor the hiring of Matt Rule. I thought it was a terrible hire. I like him personally, so I've chilled out. I've seen cultural progress, so I've kind of mellowed on this. But realistically speaking, I don't want to see Rule out of here until 2031, and I don't care what it happens numbers-wise, as long as it is somewhat competitive and also culturally healthy. Because here's the thing. What would it have looked like with Callahan's offense coaching in 2009? What does that look like? And I was not a Callahan fan either, but I'm smart enough to go that Bo didn't even coach half the doggone football field, and they were within a second of winning a Big 12 championship. So I kind of want to see the 2027 class not just show up, but I want to see what happens, because we need to see if he can develop, like really actually develop key end talent, because that's the marker of success now. Give him this top 15 class, let him have it for 4 years, and then evaluate. And to be very frank, people go, well, I don't want to wait that long. Well, that's why we're here. And to be very honest with you, we've been here this long. Do 3 more seasons really actually matter?
Does it change at all for you when you consider the fact that in the transfer portal era, regardless of what the class looks like right now, you're going to have guys that just transfer more than what would have happened in the 2005 class?
I believe there is an ability. So let's say this class comes in, you're going to lose a quarter of them, which you always lose a quarter of them even before the transfer portal era, right? Like you always lose some attrition, academic qualifying, crap like that. But I do believe there is a space. All these kids came to Nebraska for a reason. If you win, even decently, with the first 27, 28, I think you have a chance of still getting half that class to the finish line. And if you get half of a class like this to the finish line and build even supplemental talented classes around it, like last year's, you start having some interesting conversations, because there's more on paper. And in terms of missing pieces, there is more on paper with this class than there has been since 2005. I mean, you could make the case that if everybody that says they're pledged actually signs and shows up, 27 is a top 6 or 7 class in the history of the school. Like, there's a lot there. There's a lot there. And I think we owe it to ourselves to go, we've been sucking crap out of a fire hose essentially since the minute, probably 2010, right? So what is 3 more years to gamble on a possibility of having something that A, becomes stable, and B, becomes stable at 8, 9? Because I'm still in the camp that says consistent 8 wins is the ceiling for this program. And maybe once a decade you touch double digits, But once a decade, you're also touching 4 or 5 wins, maybe 3, because that's the nature of this conference. We wanted super conferences, we got it, and here we are. So for me, leave this guy alone until 2030 unless he starts banging his secretary or doing something like incredibly stupid, or he starts losing to North Dakota the way Bo Pelini lost to UCLA.
Yeah. All right, Nate, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Okay. So I understand the sentiment, and maybe Fred Hoiberg, has Fred Hoiberg sitting there in his chair right now, and he's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You see? But that's not how it works. Like, I'm not going to sit up here and convince you that this 27 class and the way it's ranked buys Matt Rule any more time. It maybe gets the heat off of his ass for like right now for these like 12 weeks of summer, because people are not happy, as we've discussed on the show many, many times. People are not happy. And then you get Trey Taylor and you got the recruits and whatever, and they're all talking about how good everything is. And it's like, all right, calm down. And everybody just remembers what's important. And so it calms everything down like in this very time period. But there's I'm not sitting around waiting to see how the entire 2027 class lands and plays their entire career before I make a decision on whether he's good or not. I just don't think that's the world that we live in. And I don't want to live in that world, frankly. I think you're going to know.
Well, I think the world that you live in is that you have the transfer portal and people expect that you can reload or add talent there. And so there's not patience for what these guys can do. I mean, there's not patience for where a guy's at in his third year in a program. So you're certainly not going to be patient about high school seniors that aren't going to join until next spring. And so if it doesn't go well this fall, or if it's a 6-6 and fairly meandering, he'll come back for 2027, but it's not with the idea that, this class is going to save them.
Yeah.
It's going to be, if they're 6-6, the expectation is, your high school class looks good. You got to go get guys that can win for you now.
And listen, like, this is coming from me. I don't like firing guys. I would rather it not get to that point. And I definitely understand. And I love the idea of consistency within the program and doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping that it pops. Like, is he good enough to be maximizing everything Nebraska has in the meantime? That's ultimately the question that you guys have to decide. If you're, and I don't mind the way Nate is thinking, because I think the way Nate is thinking is it's not all about winning the national championship every year or bust, right? Nebraska doesn't have to be this type of program that says, hey, look, if we don't make the playoff, then everything is a failure. If we don't win the national championship, then everything is a failure. And we throw everything out the window with that. Nebraska does not have to be that type of program. I know some people still think that way. I don't think it needs to be that. What he's thinking about is, what can we be, and what's it going to take to have that great season every now and then? And the answer to that is maximizing everything that you have at your fingertips, whether it be your roster, your facilities, your money, your, having it work out from a timing perspective. Is Matt Rule the guy that you want in charge when all that crap lines up? Is Matt Rule the guy that you want in charge when all that stuff lines up? That's the decision that you're going to have to make as a fan and as a person who's evaluating the program. And I don't know that we have an answer to that question yet, but I'm not waiting another 6 years for it. I'm just not. So, it's somewhere in the in-between.
I think we're largely fairly similar on this, as I too would like to see consistency. I'd like to see a coach that can stick around. I'd also like to see the coach that earns the ability to stick around. Like, that's part of it too. As you were talking, as Nate was talking, I was looking at this hot seat list again, and then it kind of struck me with this thing. I think Nebraska's only had 2 coaches ever that have been there for longer than a decade at Nebraska, and that'd be Devaney and Tom Osborne. And so, like, PJ Fleck is about to.
This is his 10th year.
Yeah,
I believe.
Have his 10th year at Minnesota. Like, is Nebraska going to have another coach that gets to 10 years? Like, if
I sort of doubt it.
I do too. And Matt Rule, if you do the math on kind of what Nate's asking for, like that's what 7-8 years, like that seems unlikely. You have to win at a high enough level, I think, to even stay past 6 years.
Well,
And
think about those two guys. I mean, not only the level that they won at and how historic of coaches they
they're
are,
national champions,
but the timing in which
Right.
they were at the schools they were at. I mean, it's just not
Right.
like Kirk Ferentz. Let me go to the highest, longest tenured CFB coaches, like active right now. You have
Ferentz, you have Troy Calhoun, you have
Kirk Ferentz, Troy
Yep.
Calhoun, 1999, 2007, Dabo Sweeney, 2009, and then you have, now we're getting closer and closer to that 10-year. Dave
Yep.
Doran is going into his, what was 2013? So going into his 13th season now.
it looks like it.
Jeff Monken, 2014. Let's see, Chris Creighton at Eastern Michigan, 2014. Chuck Martin, like MAC coaches, right? Pat Narduzzi. So let's do power conference coaches. Ferentz, Dabo, Dave Doran, Pat Narduzzi. Where are those coaches coaching at? Iowa, Clemson, who won a national championship, NC State, Pitt, and then you get into your, Kalani Sitake's, Kirby Smarts, and then PJ Fleck after that. Yeah. It's like a handful of guys who have been at their schools for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
And we're talking about programs who don't have national championship aspirations. They actually are okay with like, hey, we'll take our 7 and then maybe we'll do some good. Maybe we'll beat North Carolina.
If you're
State.
Pitt,
maybe
I don't
we'll
think
beat West Virginia.
Right.
Pitt.
If you're Pitt, you're Minnesota. I think BYU values longevity, so that's part of it there. But I don't know that it behooves you to move off of PJ Fleck for the latest and greatest, or Pat Narduzzi for the latest and greatest, because they've shown that they can win at a high enough level to keep you relevant without maybe necessarily like. It wouldn't be a shock if Pitt ends up in the college football playoff,
and look,
especially in a 2014 college football
There are
playoff.
great things that you get. There are great things, and this is a great. Let's continue this conversation when we come back next, because we got some comments. Like, there are great things that you can get just by having the longevity piece of it and saying we're going to be the school that just doesn't fire people. Like, we're just going to keep this guy point blank period, no matter what. You can potentially pop at any moment in time, but you still have to think about it critically. There's no doubt about it. I think some of those programs who have had their coaches for a long time maybe aren't quite thinking about it critically anymore. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Your thoughts and more after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, good feedback from you all. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Get to the phone here in just 1 second where Doug is waiting. I got a comment here from Mustache Adam. If Nebraska was realistic about who they are and where they currently stand in the hierarchy of the college football landscape, they would be better served to just have some consistency like you laid out. So the programs that I mentioned with the coaches who have been around for a long time, Iowa, Clemson. Once again, I think when you win a national championship, it puts you into a little bit of a different category. But NC State, Pitt with Pat Narduzzi, and then Minnesota, I think, is a really good example of this. Of just, hey, it doesn't really matter. Just keep the guy around, and those programs have experienced varying levels of success. Iowa is sort of a different story as well because Ferentz has been around for so long, and I think he's hit like there's been Kirk 2.0 and Kirk 3.0 and Kirk 4.0, and I think we probably are getting closer to the final form. But I want to hear your guys' feedback on that. Like I said, 402-951-1620. Here's Doug on the hotline. Hey, Doug, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Kind of based on what you were saying, and Nebraska's famous for this, at least the now defunct contract extensions that go on is just ridiculous. Coaches today should get 2 to 3 years max, and if they don't prove it, they should be gone. And I think, the agents of the coaches and the coaches, their ability to hold that over, the athletic departments in the past. Like, well, if you don't let this guy, get 3 more years, then all these recruits are going to leave, and you're going to be stuck in a mud hole. I think that argument is completely defunct today, and I think you get 2 years, and if not in the third year, you're out mid-year. So,
thanks for the call, Doug. Appreciate it. So that's the opposite of what we just heard from Caller Nate. I don't think either of them are. I don't think either of them I would subscribe to at this point.
I definitely think that the coaching extensions are over the top. Like, there's no question to me about that. I also think it'd be really hard to find your sledding if you're Nebraska, if you're continually looking for a coach every third year.
100%.
So you've got to
I'm not saying that. Nobody's saying that. You got to be able to
find, and I don't even think Doug's saying that, but you have to be able to find some way to live in like that 7-year window that if you do have to replace a coach, in the perfect world, it's because maybe he's leaving for a better job or a better opportunity, or if he just doesn't work out and you have to move on from him, you're not in the Nebraska cycle of you just continually can't find the right answer.
It's funny that you mentioned 7. That was a number in my head too. I just that feels like, Bo had 7.
Yeah.
And it felt like we knew. Right now there was a lot of stuff that happened.
Sure.
But it just felt like we had a pretty good idea of which way the wind was blowing, and then it was decision.
And a lot
time.
can happen in that time because, like, Mike Norvell is entering his 6th season, or he's had 6 seasons. He's entering his 7th season.
I think that's right. Yeah.
But think of all of the wildness that has surrounded Florida State in a 7-year stretch, where you basically get left out of the college football playoff despite being undefeated, and you have a 3-9 and a 5-7 season in there as well.
Right. Like nobody's sitting in Tallahassee right now saying, I think we need to give Norvell like at least 4 more years to try and figure it out. You know what I mean? So
that's why I asked about the decade, because it just seems like that's a bygone era.
You do.
Or you have to commit to, like, we're okay, as in Nate was saying, we're okay if there's a 4-8 season in there, if there's like 6 to 7, 8-4s with the chance of a 10-2 or whatever else.
Yeah, right. Like you do have to, as much as, I think this is what the people who preach consistency want to stay away from. You do have to know where the wind is blowing at least a little bit, right? Like, and yes, there is some projection that comes with that category. If you go 4-8 and then 4-8 again, you should be immediately on the hot seat, right? If not being done by that point. But admittedly, we live in this zone. If we're specifically, talking about Matt Rule right now, we're talking about a world where he has taken them to 2 bowl games, and there is certainly no right or wrong answer at this point on where the direction is going. I don't know. I don't feel like they're trending down. I can't really tell you with much conviction that they're trending up. So like they're trending up from where they were in the Frost era. Like but how fast, I don't
Right.
know. And so I think there is probably some value in saying, yeah, we'll let this play out a little bit longer, and then eventually maybe an answer will come to us. I don't think there is a super duper hot seat right now. But as I said before, if it completely bombs out this year and they blow up, then yeah, you really have to think about it. Conversely, we could look at the other side too. If they, take off like a rocket ship, then all of a sudden you're off and running.
You look like a genius for signing the extension a year early.
Yeah, but I do understand the idea of where people are coming from when they say, let's just let him hang around for like a long time and see what happens. I get that, but I do think we would prefer to have a more succinct answer on what it is at this point. Yes.
I think everyone would feel better if they were 20-18 and there was one extra win and the win came, whether it was Iowa in 24 or you got somehow Ohio State in 24 or you won a ranked game at some point. Like if you had one extra win and it was like a sizable win. I don't know if Illinois 24 counts.
Probably
in that
doesn't
regard.
quite do it. Yeah.
That's like maybe the low end of the threshold, but it's like, that's what I mean.
But
I don't think people need an overwhelming amount of evidence to be told that things are better, but they need more than what they have received so far, which is, yes, things are better. It just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of upside to it.
These coaches that have been at their programs for a long time are all really good examples if you're looking for the patient, if you're trying to make the patient's case, because all of them have experience like, they're fine. I don't really know where this is going, or it's going to be good. And I like this coach. And then eventually late, in their 7th and 8th and 9th and whatever years, they turn into the best version of themselves. And I don't know that, I don't know. Maybe you could make the case to me that Nebraska should just sit around and wait for Matt Rule specifically to figure out, okay, well, we're going to hit that at some point. And I know how to get us there, and we're just trying to tweak until we get there. You can make that case to me. I don't know that I would, completely go along with you, but Kirk Ferentz found a 2nd and 3rd and 4th version of himself. Like I said, Dabo Swinney had his best years, after they were done Clemsoning, he got hired in 2009. They won a national championship at what, 16?
Yeah.
Or 17?
It was 16.
Yeah.
I think it was 16.
And so, Dave Doran's had, 9 win seasons later in his coaching.
16 and 18.
16 and 18. Right.
Exactly. He's a 2-time national champion.
Two-time.
And he's a 3.1 on the hot seat.
Fleck is interesting. Obviously, he's at Minnesota, so this is all kind of moot because they're not going to fire. Like, you know what I mean? Like the pressure is just definitively lower at a program like Minnesota than it is at Nebraska. And I think everybody would agree with that. But Fleck had his best year in his 3rd season and has not nearly been as good the entire time, but it's not been so bad where it's like, oh, well, he's never going to achieve that again. And, and he's terrible in all the other years. I think people are willing to absolutely live with what they've gotten from PJ Fleck, even if and with the idea that there is a chance every once in a blue moon he's going to rip off an 11 winner. It could happen because there's precedent for it to happen.
And there's an outside
Fleck's a great
chance
example.
Playing in a conference like the Big Ten that if you have a 21 or a 22 where you went 8-4, you could be the 23rd seed or the 24th seed in a college football playoff. Like that's a real possibility. Have you looked at Dave Doran and like that run? Because this is sort of when you maybe let the consistency go for too long, you might be in this run of things.
Tell me.
Where the highest at any season is 9-4, and he's done it 4 times. And then inside of there, he has 3 other 8-win seasons. The worst is his first year at 3-9. They haven't been that bad.
So
then they went 4-8.
So 7 seasons at 8 or 9 wins, and then how many seasons does that leave without?
It'd be 6 other seasons.
That'd be tough for me to sign up
so
for.
You're basically and then the high end of any of it is
because 8 or 9 isn't good enough for me to be like, ooh, I'll just sit around and wait for the 9 wins.
Yeah.
You know?
You want that 10-win pot.
Yeah, 10. If you could give me one more,
And I think
Dave.
the harder part is he's in the ACC, which is, I think, a conference where you can expect to win 10 games more.
Yeah.
Like Tony Elliott in Virginia just won 10 games.
They did.
Dave Doran hasn't done that at any point.
Yeah. It's a fascinating conversation.
It really is.
We'll continue to have it. 402-951-1620. Also get your opinions in for I Have an Opinion coming up in just about 15 minutes. First, Joey's headlines coming back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Good luck with that, Dan.
All right, get your opinions in. I have an opinion coming up in just a couple of minutes. Any way you'd like to get in touch with the show, 402-951-1620 is the text line. I'll also leave a YouTube comment. Send us a tweet at @HappenSchafe on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Joey, what do we got today for headlines?
All right, headline number 1. Upstate New York School District will deploy a humanoid robot teacher this fall.
Another humanoid story. Interesting. Yesterday,
it was a wedding in Russia.
Today, it's a teacher in New York.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Headline number 2. Pole dancing accident floods 2 Houston apartments.
Yeah, that's definitely that one. So let's go there. This is from UPI. A Houston woman said she is done practicing pole dancing at her home after a mishap led to 2 apartments being flooded. Asha Gilbert was filming her pole dancing practice July 6th at her West Houston apartment when the pole came loose from the ceiling and struck a fire sprinkler. The video shows water spraying out of the sprinkler to flood Gilbert's apartment and that of a neighbor. Quote, I'm in shock because I'm like, oh my gosh, this cannot be happening to me, Gilbert told KTRK TV. She said she only installed the pole 3 days earlier. It wasn't even a thought that it could possibly hit the sprinkler, she said. We were more worried about hitting a wall. She said her furniture was ruined and she had to move to another unit due to the damage. Gilbert said her downstairs neighbor was understanding about the water damage. I would not be understanding about the water damage. I explained everything and she was very, very cool and understanding, and I appreciated that. She said she will not be pole dancing at home anymore. She'll have to take her pole dancing somewhere else.
The video is...
I have not watched it.
I saw it yesterday, and I was wondering if there was going to be an article regarding that, and I'm glad there was because it was pretty comical.
I don't know who installed the pole. It feels like they did the thing, like you wedge it between the floor and the ceiling, and it's like, yeah, it seems tight.
On the other hand, that fire sprinkler is working pretty well.
Yeah.
At least we know it's working.
It's going pretty good.
If you want to find a way to know it's working, there you go.
So she did not do a good job of installing the pole.
No.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like they just did it's wedged between the floor and the ceiling. Seems tight.
It doesn't even look like it's reaching to the top of the ceiling. Apparently, it looks like one of those extendable, like you have it and then you extend it up to the ceiling and then it stops there.
That's what I mean. And then like maybe you use like the top, you tighten with the top cap and it's like, okay, it creates enough pressure that this should be fine. Well,
I kind of thought the way she did it was that it was, the fact that it struck a fire shower or whatever thing. I kind of thought it was going to be like an original like load bearing pole that was just in the apartment. No, she got her own. And
man, that's just bold to set it up right next to the sprinkler as well.
Yeah.
Not even considering.
She said she didn't even consider it.
I do love the idea of people utilizing their load bearing poles or columns as for pole practice.
Absolutely,
as what we're doing here.
I don't have any poles in my house anymore. I used to have a pole in my garage that was super duper annoying.
Oh yeah,
right in the middle.
Yep.
I don't have that pole anymore either, so we're poleless.
Yeah, I don't.
Any poles?
No, this house I don't have any. At the last house, the only thing close would have been like the sort of column that holds up your like the deck that you could walk out of. So I had a walkout ranch. You'd walk out the back, and there'd be the columns holding up the upper deck.
Okay.
And that's it. Other than that,
can't really use that as a pole.
No, you really can't. It would hurt if you were trying to utilize it in the way that I think she was attempting to use the pole that was installed.
Do you think that's what she did before she started pole dancing?
That's probably.
Check this out.
Check this
That is probably.
And the ESPY award goes to, check this out, Shohei Ohtani.
Black Cat writes in, from someone who's in other people's houses on a daily basis, you would be alarmed at how many poles are in houses in the metro. Is this true? Do people just have poles? Like, we're talking about dancing poles. I mean, I used to walk into like college houses and there'd be poles,
Sure.
But it's college. That's what you do in college. You have poles.
Or the house that you have chosen to rent from just already comes with one.
100%. 100%. So it wouldn't have been but now if I walked into somebody's house and I saw a pole just in the middle of the living room, I wouldn't probably ask questions. I would probably just keep all my thoughts to myself.
Black Cat has added.
And then immediately
Don't judge people.
It's a good workout is what I usually hear.
This is exactly how they are promoted. Yes.
Check this out.
They come along with the Carmen Electra pole workout aerobics video and everything else.
It's a load-bearing pole. Yeah, it doesn't look like a load-bearing pole. It's a good workout.
It did not bear. It did not bear.
Certainly not in this case. No. She apologizes to her neighbor below.
They're very understanding.
Would not have handled it quite as well. All right, coming up, it is time for I Have an Opinion. You all have opinions, and we are excited to dive into them. We have a few. We could use several more. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, 8 o'clock on a Thursday. It's Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com, the Zone Radio Network. 8 o'clock on a Thursday means it's time for I Have an Opinion. You send in your opinions to us, and we read them, and we decide whether they're good or bad opinions, which is a part that I love. What?
On a 1 through 5 scale.
No decimal
with
points.
Decimal points.
Immediately, Debo writes in, I have an opinion. This show should have a Telemundo option.
Could look into it.
What do you think about that, Joey?
I was thinking about that the other day.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
You want to replace us?
No, I was just thinking, what if there was a 1620 Zone like in Telemundo? For some reason, I was actually thinking of that the other day after
sure there's
watching
a
the
tool where you could.
So you
feed
want a
us through
Spanish
translator.
broadcast announce table is what you want?
That would be probably fun.
I'm sure there's a tool where you could feed us through some sort of a translator, right? Or just hold your phone up to Google Translate. It'll immediately.
Now that could be fun.
Yeah,
spit out some crazy stuff.
Al could do some things.
All right, so we got emails. Let's go to the emails first today on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox, where we ask you to
Check this out.
check this out. All right, so we got a couple. I had one from yesterday, actually. It was Bad Takes Doug who wrote in yesterday. Oh, no, this was Tuesday he wrote in. So this one's been sitting here for a while. This may be a question for a different show on 1620, but I'm interested in your opinion. Oh, it's a question, not so much an opinion.
Okay.
Great start. Would you rather live in a world, Omaha, with no AC, no refrigeration, no ice, or a world without deodorant and perspirant? Or, and your choice goes for everyone else around you. All right, so your choices are this. No AC, refrigeration, or ice, or no deodorant for anyone.
So I basically have to decide whether I want the comfort of air conditioning or not the pungent smells of myself and others.
It has to be that, right?
I think you just have to live with the smell.
Yeah.
I think because
that's a lot of
giving up
really
refrigeration
smelly.
is tough. Giving up AC is tough.
So
in your case, giving up ice would be tough.
This is my question to the question then. Do I know that these things exist in an alternate universe, right? Have I lived in a world where refrigeration, air conditioning, and ice did exist and then it's taken away from me? Have I lived in a world where deodorant exists and then it's taken away from me? Or is it just this is how it's been my entire life? This is my world.
Yeah.
Because those are different questions.
They are. Is it if everyone all stinks at once, does that somehow make it a universal better thing?
I don't
Like
think
making
so.
it a norm. Just
But if everyone smells,
Yeah.
then
I mean, it takes away from the embarrassment factor,
sure.
but it still smells.
Yeah, well, the smell is going to exist regardless, but everyone smells.
Yeah.
Like no one can do anything to help themselves
God, imagine
from
going
the smell.
Imagine going to like a basketball game.
Imagine being in the studio.
There was only 3 people. Okay. So we would survive.
Sure.
All right.
we'll be fine.
I'm talking about 15,000 people.
I'm
under
thinking
one
about the
roof.
crossover.
Oh no.
That
I'm
would
sorry
be
for
really
you
stinky.
too.
You would want it. Your friends would be the people who sweated the least in their life.
Now, in this question, and we don't have great, we aren't able to get a response here. Are you allowed to use soap? Can you still clean yourself every day?
No deodorant and perspirant. I'm going to say yes.
So you can still try to have a, strong hygienic presentation. You can wash your clothes. You can do all of those things.
It's tough for me to say no. It's in a world where it's being taken away from me. It's hard to the AC right now, the refrigeration. Like, could you imagine your Cokes being warm? Room temperature. All, that just sounds horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it
moved all of this is
No.
if you just moved to Europe, basically.
And
Even every
worse.
part of this question
Yeah, go to
is just
England.
moving to Europe.
That sounds terrible. They don't have refrigeration.
All the English,
They don't
they don't have
utilize
AC.
refrigeration.
Yeah, they don't really utilize that. Think
Yeah.
of all the English fans having to fly back home to their non-AC apartment units.
That's disgusting.
You're aware that they prefer room temperature for stuff.
Yeah, no. I mean, I didn't know that. That
Yeah,
sounds
it's-
terrible.
That was one of the running jokes of when I went to Iceland is we spent every day having to find ice because we had a cooler with like meat and stuff that we wanted to be able to eat and utilize.
But they don't believe in refrigerators,
and they don't have ice makers. They don't. You go to a hotel, there's no ice maker. You would have to go to a gas station, and sometimes the gas stations just didn't have ice because people didn't buy ice in Iceland.
Disgusting. Remind me to never go overseas. There's a reason why America's number one. We found it. All right, here's Al in Minneapolis. Gentlemen, says, I have an opinion. People who believe Nebraska doesn't have a chance of possibly maybe upsetting Indiana either don't believe in math or haven't watched college football before. Upsets happen all the time. In fact, every week of the regular season, there's usually an upset of a top 10 to 15 team. It seems like everyone agrees Calandra is explosive in the best and worst ways. If it is an on game for him, all bets are off. Nebraska could be good. Indiana could be average. It could be just one of those games. Nebraska wins this game more than 15% of the time. Regards, Al in Minneapolis. I settled on 15. Schaefer said something like 8 to 10, right? Percent. I love how this has become such a big topic over the last 3 days.
Yeah, I think I was somewhere around 10%.
I was listening to Matt, and Matt was freaking out yesterday about everyone around him saying that Nebraska is going to beat Indiana or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
awesome.
Yeah.
Now imagine that with no deodorant.
I was sitting in my car just going like this, like, oh, I pissed Matt
Are you
off.
doing the Mr. Burns? Excellent.
I think we all upset McMaster because this was when I was crafting my little prediction and I threw Matt on like 7 games.
That's true. He had to deal with your predictions
Yeah.
throughout his entire
Your
show,
predictions
too.
make him mad that he responded to the predictions?
Apparently, I'm living rent free in his head. Like all he thinks about is me.
He does. You do, I think. That's actually true. Here's Bad Takes Doug again. I have an opinion. Any food that can be put on a stick is superior to the non-stick version. It's bite size. It doesn't require silverware, and you could dunk it in sauce if you want. I'm not willing to go that far. Just with like every food is better on it, or every food that is on a stick is better. That like I can't go there.
However, corn dogs are a game changer.
Like, would you rather have a steak or a kebab?
I would rather have a kebab. Like,
whoa, you would? That's crazy. You would?
Yeah, it's unique.
If you believe this, then that goes contrary to my argument because I would rather have a steak, obviously. It's a kebab is just a steak on a stick.
There's times where I'd probably pick a kebab over a steak.
Whoa. What's going on in this room?
It's also because whenever we get into these would you rather conversations, like some of my food is based off of like I don't always want a steak.
I don't always want a steak.
It's dependent on how
I'm giving you the option
I
of
feel.
how to have your steak. I'm saying you're having a steak
And
today.
what I'm saying is steak is Indiana and kebab is Nebraska. So there's a time where I'm going to potentially take kebab.
I'm not saying you're having a steak every day.
Sure.
I'm just saying you're one time. You're one time every 3 weeks. You're
Given
having
those
a
two
steak.
choices, I have a higher likelihood of taking steak.
Me too.
Yeah, I would take steak. I misunderstood the question, but I always want to have a kebab every once in a while.
I'm not saying kebabs are bad, but what Bad Takes Doug is saying is that
a kebab would be superior.
Rather
because
have
it's
the
on a
kebab.
stick.
Yeah.
So here's off of that. If you just take a fork and you put the fork in a piece of something, is that now on a stick?
No.
That's effectively what he's saying.
Yeah, that's technicality.
Yeah. So I just want clarity on that.
Chicken nuggets on a stick.
I like many foods off of a stick.
I do too. I love corn dogs.
Like going to a fair situation
Famously.
and having food off of a stick.
I am responsible for our golf tournament with my friends in next weekend. I won the championship last year, so I'm responsible for the champions dinner.
Ooh.
And so I'm going to go to Costco and get a bunch of corn dogs, a bunch of frozen corn dogs, and just toss them.
Do you have to host the champions dinner?
Well, it's different this year because we're on location this year.
Oh.
We're not all in Omaha. We're going to be at a different place, and so I'll be bringing some food, and the champions dinner is hosted by me.
Wow.
Look at you.
Yeah.
And it's corn dogs.
It's going to be corn dogs.
Now, how many courses?
I don't know. I haven't decided. I know that it's going to be based around corn dogs.
Is there a dessert?
I think I'm going to bring corn dogs and Arnold Palmer's.
It sure feels like the one decision has been made, and it's corn dogs.
I think it's going to be corn dogs.
Every subsequent question I ask, I can see your brain go through.
I got nothing.
I pick corn dogs. Stop asking questions. I pick corn dogs.
That's right. That's exactly
Okay,
right.
I'll stop.
All right, here's TC. I have an opinion referencing yesterday's news about daylight savings time, how daylight savings time impacts vampires. It would be within reason to surmise that vampires would despise the disruption. Vampires operate on an internal circadian-like biological clock. Even though they sleep in pitch black coffins, this time shift forces them awake abruptly while the sun is still up, potentially causing severe lethargy or vulnerability to the sun's rays. LOL. So when the clocks jump ahead an hour in March, vampires lose an hour of crucial hunting time. Because the sun rises earlier by the clock, their safe operating window shrinks and would disrupt feeding habits. Peace, TC. Goat.
It's
He's right.
hard for me to argue against any of that.
Is absolutely correct. Is absolutely correct. All right.
I should share my opinion before I forget.
Oh, yes, Joey, please.
I gotta go look at it.
We have an opinion from Thomas from Tuesday that I
Oh yeah,
sent the
you
early
saved it.
one. We'll double back to that.
Okay.
So we all have that one shining moment for March Madness. Can we have that for the World Cup?
Of course.
It's literally the same type of a tournament as the NCAA tournament. You get heartbreakers every once in a while. I mean, just look at the English yesterday. They felt good for 85 minutes and then
I don't see
disaster happened
him.
for 7 minutes.
I'm fully on board for this.
But here's the thing. You have one shining moment with the Telemundo calls.
How did I know that he was going to say that?
It's always Telemundo.
Because
So back in my day, Joey, they didn't have the calls at all. The calls don't belong in One Shining Moment. The One Shining Moment is One Shining Moment.
Just
with
throw
the song with Luther Vandross and that one guy, and that is it. There's no calls. And now they started adding the calls. Back when they messed with it they had Akon or whatever they had like Neo do One Shining Moment or something like that. And then he did a song that was terrible. They brought back Luther Vandross. Then they started adding calls to it. Now it's way too busy and cluttered with calls. No calls. No calls.
Well, you don't need to clutter it with calls. Just have like probably no more than 5. I would
No calls. No
But
calls.
this is Joey's version.
This
of
is
One
my
Shining
version.
Moment.
You got to throw in Andres Cantor's
All right.
goal call.
One Shining Moment with soccer, but with Andres Cantor.
Effectively.
What else?
Yes.
Schaefer? Tell me what we
I'll
got.
read this from Tom. He sent this in on Tuesday, and I marked it because I didn't want to forget. I have an opinion. Tech companies are spending too much money on AI and mass surveillance repositories, data centers, and their existing products are actually getting worse. Alexa, I think he said, I used to ask, who is this? To get the name of a band for the song playing. The other day, the dumb thing said, I am Alexa. Google searches
Alexa.
are actively getting worse in the non-AI section to try and force feed the AI slop down your throat.
Well, that's a good opinion.
Chrome's built-in spell check showed me a red squiggly the other day indicating I had spelled a word wrong. It used to give you suggestions that you could just click. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, now it tries to like sell you products, I'm
Yep.
sure, or something like that. Absolutely. I completely agree with this.
Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 opinion for me.
100%. I mean,
That's why I didn't want it to get lost.
everything else is just being geared to the AI thing, and they're trying to figure out how to make
We're
that
getting
better.
slopped.
Yep, we are absolutely in Slop World. Slop World 2026. Here is Wes. I have an opinion. Omaha North is one of the few OPS schools with a strong football program and definitely deserve to have their own football stadium. They made the best decision by naming it after Gene Haynes. Nobody deserves it more than him and the love he had for his students. So growing up, and being in high school and OPS, you heard about Gene Haynes all the time.
Yeah, I don't know who this is, but I saw an outpouring of just support and excitement and enthusiasm over the naming of this.
So if Wes is another person on board, I agree. And I think it's great that North has their own stadium or is getting
Agreed.
their own stadium for sure. Because they've been going to Northwest to play football for a very long time now. A very long time.
It's hard in communities like Omaha and Lincoln where you're larger, but having your own stadium and having
So
somewhere, it means something.
So good.
It absolutely.
That's
means
why
something.
we love the beautiful stadium downtown for Central when they built that in, I don't know, it was probably like 4 or 5 or 6 or somewhere around there.
Great spot to
They
catch
used
a
to play
game.
their games at Norris Middle School. As fun as that was, they would play their games at Norris Middle School, but it was better when they had their own stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were looking at me like, yeah,
It wasn't.
It's like, they did.
It wasn't
Well,
nice.
I'm just thinking of all the great players that would have had their high school career at Norris Middle School.
Facts.
It's wild.
Absolutely.
It wasn't ideal going to all the Miller North games at Buell Stadium at South.
Are they going to do their own thing?
I don't think so.
They have a nice practice field now, where I assume they play like Prep has their own practice field where they play like JV games.
They'll utilize that for soccer. Their nicer field.
I saw Miller North's got some turf now for their softball field.
Oh,
I think they have their outfield turf for baseball, so I'd imagine the infield is coming soon. Their facilities are nice.
They're nice.
I haven't been over there in a while.
It's
Here
been 10 years for me.
is Gus Mohawk. I almost don't want to read this opinion, but I will, and then we'll just buzz right by it. I have an opinion. A hot dog is a sandwich. It's meat, sauce, and bread. No opinions.
We can continue that with I have an opinion. Corn dogs are gross. Just give me a hot dog sandwich. Michael Severe.
Michael's on the hot dog is a
Our good
sandwich
friend.
thing.
I think he's just playing it up.
Yeah.
As part of the bit.
He's a corn dog hater, though. Do you think that's real?
I don't know. He might be.
I bet that's real. That sounds like an opinion that he would have. He hasn't experienced the finer things in life. From the 402, I have an opinion. Longevity as a coach is much more important in the NIL era. A sports-related opinion on something that we talked about a little bit earlier.
Is it?
Yes, only because of I don't know if it has anything to do with actual NIL, but I just think everybody else's trigger is so fast these days that I feel like the longevity thing and the stability thing is kind of coming back around to mean more, you know?
It could. It very well could. I'm just thinking about all the coaches that we talked about that aren't like Kirby Smart, and they're all at places where the NIL isn't strong anyways.
Right.
So I don't know how much it actually matters. So maybe for the ones that are going there, it does matter anyways. But, you don't think of Pitt, NC State, and Iowa as a big NIL operation.
Lance comments on the whole British lack of refrigeration thing. He said, no refrigeration is stupid. That would mean no refrigerated trucking. Transportation of food across the U.S. and or the world is one of the things that has changed the world and the world's economy. Nobody wants to go back to eating from your garden and freshly killed meat and storing in a food in a cellar. That is right, Lance.
Yeah.
Talk to these idiots overseas. I don't know what's going on.
It's just a lot of markets in Europe that you go to.
Here is Jasker Todd. I have an opinion. In blackjack, I always hit a 12 against a 2. It's up to you. That's a gray area.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what the book says on that, but
Isn't it a slight nod to hitting there versus staying? Like it's a less than a % difference. So like it's not like it's a huge advantage.
I would imagine so, because the assumption that the dealer always has a face card,
Right.
it always has a 10.
Do you on 16? What do you do?
I usually against a face card.
Yeah.
Like against a 10, I'll usually hit it.
Yep.
Sometime a vibe just catches me.
I always stay on 16.
You're
always just stay. It's just dependent on how I feel when it comes to 16.
It does. I mean, you have some thought behind you there, because obviously there's still a chance of the dealer bust.
Yeah. Well, for basically, I just pick like one way to go with it and then just stick with that the entire time. Because the idea that you can sort of time it perfectly.
I pretty much agree with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So I always just stay on.
But then
16.
there's different
It's easier.
situations. Like
Sure.
if it's against a 7,
Right.
Like
Definitely situation dependent.
here's a text from the 402. I have an opinion. Philly should never host a major sporting event again. Their fans ruined MLB All-Star Week for me. I was actually thinking about this the other night. I actually thought that it kind of made it better. I thought them booing the crap out of everything was funny. And the players seemed to enjoy it. There was an emotion about it, right? Like that was kind of fun.
I think it is unique to Philly, and so therefore it fit perfectly with them hosting that their fans would do that. Like it gives you the character of the place that's hosting it.
Yeah, I agree.
It didn't ruin anything for me, but I also wasn't like the most locked in on it either.
Text from 402. I have an opinion. Ryan Gosling is great. I know Happer agrees, but Project Hail Mary was a dud. Terrible space movie. Is this true?
I thought it was fine. It was a much better book for me than movie.
They're terrible.
Much better book guy.
Yeah, I mean that's true most of the time.
That usually is for book
but
guys.
the movie was still like, if I wouldn't be like, hey, you shouldn't watch the movie, read the book. I'd be like, yeah, you can get enough of what you want out of the movie. If you think you'd enjoy it more, I'd read the book.
Okay, we have a gambling expert here.
Okay,
this is Alec. You hit versus a dealer 2. So he's talking about the 12 versus the 2. Surrender on 16 if allowed. Stay on 16.
Yeah.
Is that what he meant?
I think that's what he means. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, book. If I had a book on me at all times, which I usually just ask the
in
dealer.
favor of most of your wins at a blackjack table, or the dealer busting, not you beating the dealer straight up.
I mean, that's the added advantage that you have at the end of it.
Right.
Like you're just if everything goes wrong, you're hoping for that at the end, which is certainly possible. A text from the 402. I have an opinion. Hot dogs are not glizzies. Everyone stop calling them that. When did this even start and why has it caught on? Hot dogs are hot dogs, not Franks, not wieners, just hot dogs. I don't know about the Franks and wieners thing. Like, that's okay. But
yeah,
the glizzies,
at first I was like, did I subconsciously write this and send it as I have an opinion for someone else? And then he said the Franks and wieners. Like, well, no, it wasn't me.
I don't know where the glizzies thing came from. It's not great.
I find it dumb.
I also find it dumb.
It's more dumb to me when it's people like in my own life adopting it and really wanting to seem cool because they're adopting it. And I just call it a hot dog.
Here is Pedro. Hi, guys. I have an opinion. The main producers, Joey, Josh, Nick, could form. What do you think Pedro is going to say here?
A union?
Could form one of the best bar trivia teams in the city. Geography, movies, music, and throw in a rando sports host for the sports question. You'd be hip deep in free chicken wings and beer for the rest of your life.
I think Josh and Joey would handle sports pretty well.
I do too. Joey would maybe be one of the better sports guys out of all of us if we were.
No, he'd have a real weak area in baseball, but
yes,
in terms. But Josh would come through in baseball, I would think, more often than not.
I think so.
And Nick's getting into baseball.
If there's a Rocky specific question or college baseball specific.
If you were doing specific categories and then like a draft on all those categories, depending on each of the person's strengths, I don't know where I would go the highest. I'm kind of a vibes guy on the trivia team, I guess, but I will contribute. Like I'm good for something. I just don't know. I'm pretty well rounded, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Pretty well rounded.
A few years since I was playing trivia consistently. We had a team and it was like an audio based trivia.
You'd be good at movies. Josh would be good at Josh Odson and Peterson would both be good at movies.
Movies, history, sports. Those are the 3 areas where I'm going to bring anything to.
Actually, here's a hot take. I think I would be the best out of anyone at music.
Even against Grimm?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yep.
I can believe it.
I think Grimm's scope is
narrowed.
It's narrow. Yeah, it's narrow.
Okay, so you know one of these people a lot better than the other. I want to set up a music trivia battle between Jake Sorensen, who I think is
very
amazing
good.
at
very
it.
good.
And,
but he's very heavy 90s. Very heavy 90s.
All right. And then Jack Mitchell, who believes that he's amazing at it. And I've seen him.
I think Jack actually, I give the edge to
I think
Jack.
it'd be a really good battle, though.
Yeah.
I really do.
I don't think I want to enter in that competition.
Oh, I wouldn't be anywhere near that competition. But those are the 2 best music people that I can think of.
Tony writes in, he says, I have an opinion. Consistency in blackjack decisions is equal to consistency in coaching. What do you think?
Well, I value both pretty highly, so I agree with the opinion.
Nick says, I have an opinion. Stop reading people's opinions that are trying too hard. Nobody wants to listen to you reading an essay about vampires. Damn. Roasted. Chad writes in, I have an opinion. I am taking Curtis in the golf tournament. Wow. Curtis, my friend Curtis, has some people in his corner.
Is Ben Curtis playing in the British Open?
In our golf tournament. Kyle writes in, I have an opinion. Local county fairs are peak entertainment in Nebraska.
They're pretty great.
I haven't been to a local county fair in a long, long time. If I have
taken
ever.
you back to Columbus last weekend.
Oh man, maybe it's time to go back to Columbus.
Who their big musical guest was. I think it was Kip Moore was one of them. They had somebody else, and it's like,
That
oh,
sounds
wow.
like a guy at a
It's
county fair.
relatively notable for a Black County fair that's fairly high booking.
Not bad. Aaron says, I have an opinion against the people who hate Philly. Never have I had a better time sitting in a bar or just randomly talking with people. Philly people are super self-deprivating. First and foremost, they also hate Boston people. And Boston people actually do suck. Philly people are awesome, and I'm a psycho, and I want to go to a Packers game on the road there and take the unlimited slurs I would take on.
Great
Packers Patriots.
Great, like off-season tier list at some point. Like just city people, like we're just like, oh, what,
Okay. Or city where you would least like to be as an opposing fan.
Oh, that's probably the
It's
better
not
way to
bad.
do it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Tommy says, I have an opinion. Vampire opinions matter.
I wasn't expecting so much vampire
There's
talk
a lot of
today.
stuff about vampires. All right. We'll be back with Brian Christopherson. Thank you for your opinions, everyone. It's appreciated. We didn't really get to the YouTube comments, but I'm sure there's a few in there. We'll be right back with BC after this on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man.
Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7 on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone.
And we are joined on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline by our good friend Brian Christopherson from Husker 247 BC. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How are you guys?
Good. How was have we talked to you in a couple weeks? Was last week your week off?
He was off last week.
Okay. Yeah. How was the lake?
Lake was good. Mostly golf, more golf than fishing. Got to 2 or 3 pretty nice courses up there. So, I'm well rested. So I have no excuses heading to Big Ten Media Days in a couple weeks.
Best shape of your life, ready to go for camp?
Feel like it, yeah. Did some push-ups up there. Ran on the dirt roads in the forest. So I'm ready for it.
Would you ever choose a kebab over a steak?
Maybe on an occasion.
So it's a non-zero chance. That's where I meant to.
Like a 1 out of 10?
Yeah, 1 out of 10. It would have to be like you just don't trust where the steak's coming from, and that would be the 1 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah,
that's basically the conclusion that we came to. Anyway, you get to come back and now relitigate again Nebraska's running back position. Different things going on. When you first heard about Nebraska's addition of Tyke Hayes from Penn State, where did your brain go? Like, did it immediately think about him being a contributor for Nebraska this fall, or is that too early to tell still?
It's maybe too early to tell, but I like the pickup. I mean, it can't hurt to add one more to the mix. And, he's got a background that at least makes it intriguing. It's not like one of those. I mean, sometimes there'll be a kid who's a real long shot that's added, and you're like, yeah, that's probably not ever going to happen. He's just a guy on the roster. But, I mean, he was a Penn State player who, was recruited pretty widely, ran for more than 7,000 yards in high school. And, even though he had limited snaps in the bowl game against Clemson, he handled himself all right doing it. So he's not that much different, frankly, than the guys he's joining.
Right.
We'll see how his personality and all that meshes with it. But, I mean, he had the same deal last year at Penn State as, and we'll see what happens with Mekhi Nelson, but Nelson and Mosey, where you're sort of behind the workhorse and Emmett Johnson. He was behind, obviously, the 1-2 combo Penn State had, but he was in the mix for sort of to be that third guy behind those two top players. So he's got possibilities at least, and I like his size at 205 pounds. He's listed some places, so not bad to add a guy like him in mid-late July. And of course, we'll see if there's even though the charges were dropped, what they do with Mekhi Nelson on that situation.
Hey, BC, I want to jump over to the other side of the ball. And in your most indispensable Huskers list, you wrote about Jasir Whittington today. I am kind of interested. What do you think the overall impact of a Whittington or a Stoudemire could be? They added both of those guys later in the portal cycle. They weren't the high end of the defensive line board that Nebraska seemed to be chasing throughout the month of January, but they ended up with these two. How much impact could either one or both have for Nebraska's defensive line in 2026?
Yeah, so we had Whittington at number 10, and I think some people believe that's too high for him, and I understand the argument there. He's played less than 300 snaps in college football. But to your question, Schaefer, I think they're going to need Whittington or Stoudemire or both to be like top 15 type of guys. They really need them to hit like that, maybe in different ways. I don't know if Stoudemire is going to be more of a run plugger for you, and Whittington will excel more as like the cheetah package, as Rob Orich calls it. I know he was heavily involved in that in the spring, and it seemed like he impressed with his one-on-one abilities there. The question on Whittington, of course, is has been his size. Like, he played at 250 pounds last year at Pitt, which you would think would just get knocked around in the Big Ten. Now he's up to around, I think, about 270 now. And he said even in the spring there was room to grow. There is a little bit of blind faith in putting him higher on the list. But as far as guys with, like, if you're going to be like, I'm going to look at that glass today and say it's half full, he'd be on your list of like 5 players, I think, where, like, if he hits and he can get some stuff done and be effective, that starts to change your outlook for the squad and especially that defense. So either way, he's really important, and he did make an impression this spring, like both with coaches and players. You know, Rule called him a tone setter. Other guys are like, yeah, he wins a lot of matchups. So he's definitely going to be an interesting dude to keep track of here as we get into camp starting August 5th.
Okay, similar question, I guess. Defensively, who is the most, well, maybe you know the answer to this because the list is coming out, but the most indispensable newcomer, transfer, basically, that Nebraska, and we're talking about just the defensive side only. So Whittington is an option. You have Chambliss. You have McDougal. You have Dexter Foster. Is there anybody else that you would throw into that category?
If you really wanted to dart throw Anthony Jones and having the best season of his career, that's maybe. Or if you think Danny Odom is a true freshman corner, is just going to take over.
Who are you highest on in that group?
Chambliss is my answer, but it's a good question. I like Chambliss as the pick there because of what he's already done in Orch's system, and he really took off last year. Now, he did have like the toe injury in the spring, and so hopefully, he comes back from that strong. It held him out a little bit, but he's a big guy. Like, he said he was 238 pounds, I think, when he did his media stuff in the spring, and he's eager to take on the Big Ten challenge. He views himself as one of the top football IQ guys. I think he said in college football, like, he has a really strong belief in his knack for understanding things and picking things up fast. And obviously he has experience with the word. So I would say him. McDougal, I would maybe put next, just because of also the experience that it's not only at San Diego State with Orch, but also Idaho. Anthony Jones, he's in the same category as Whittington to me. Like, it's like if he takes off and does play the best football of his life, and there is that carrot in front of him of this is it. This is a guy who's trying to, sort of like in the NFL when a guy's in his last year before free agency, you're trying to show everything you got, to keep it going. So it is an interesting crew. They all got to be good, but I'd put Chambliss at the top.
BC, if we kind of collectively agree, just based on the way the offseason has gone and the conversation that the offensive line is the most improved position group for Nebraska football, maybe you would reject that notion. But if you would say that from 25 to 26, what's the next most improved? Is there a most improved group for you that comes up next position group wise for Nebraska?
I don't know if it will be this way, but on paper, to me, and this goes with Chambliss, is the linebackers and Dexter Foster, because I feel like as much deserved harsh critiques as the D-line took last year, the linebacker play just wasn't to a level that you can, compete in the Big Ten at the highest category. And, Vincent Shavers, of course, was playing with one hand for half the season. So there was that, but, Marquise Watts and Trent probably didn't work out quite as much as would be hoped. I feel like they got bigger, and they have some guys who have at least made plays at their previous stops. And Dexter Foster is one of the wild cards I'm probably, most interested in on this roster, because the one time we were over there and taking our photos and, the video and all that stuff of practice, he was the guy who first jumped out to me, like, man, he was even bigger than I thought. And then you kind of read about what he did when he was healthy at Oregon State. He made plays and they made plays against Texas Tech. Didn't matter who they were playing. Like he was around the ball. And so I would say linebacker on paper, you're hoping is a lot better because you've got those guys. You hope Shavers is really good with that competition around him. And then, like a Dawson Merritt or a Pierce Smoothberry, if they kind of rise up and give you at least a fourth guy there, that could be a deep position.
All right, BC, we will let you go. As always, appreciate you stopping by, and have a good rest of your week and weekend.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you. Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7. I almost pressed the wrong button. Accountability. I didn't.
Great job by you.
Thank you. Dexter Foster.
I'm excited about him.
I
I'm
like
really
it.
excited about him.
If you have played the new NCAA football video game,
I've not played a single game with Nebraska.
You might enjoy yourself some Dexter Foster.
You just set him there at linebacker. You turn him loose on the quarterback, and he gets home.
Absolutely.
I have found that the blitzing from middle linebackers is the most effective way to get to the quarterback.
Yeah, it's hard to work through as a defensive lineman.
Yeah, very hard.
Yeah, Foster would be an interesting one for sure. And you pair him along with Shavers, who should have a bounce back, and then some of those young guys, Merritt, I'm interested in too. So yeah,
the linebacker room in general, I have a pretty high enthusiasm.
There's a lot to like on defense just for them bouncing back after the disaster of the end of last year. I do wonder what the ceiling is, but they have some good players.
I also think the secondary is going to be much improved too.
Yep. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back around at the hour. Mike Schaefer has a question for me based on something that he heard on another sports talk radio show.
True.
And you could hear that show on this station.
It's called the Fairly Odd Couple.
It's just The Odd Couple.
The Odd Couple. Is there a Fairly Odd Couple?
The Fairly Odd Parents was a cartoon television show.
No,
it's Timmy Turner on the show.
There we go.
Is there a Cosmo and Wanda?
Just The Odd Couple.
They're never together.
Is
I don't
there
know
a
if you've ever noticed
Dinkelberg?
this.
The Odd
They
Couple.
never have the two hosts of the show at the same time.
Well, it used to be Chris Broussard and Rob Parker, but
now
now it's just Rob Parker and some other guy.
Yeah.
All right, back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, Happer Schaefer rolls on. I've done some research. So, yeah, we might get into the sheets here in just a couple of minutes. So stay tuned for that. And but first, Mike Schaefer has a question for you.
I was driving around last night, and the Odd Couple, which for us runs from 6 to 9 p.m. on 1620 The Zone.
Oh, yeah.
Although I don't know if it always works that way. Like, I don't know if it just pops in after hours ends or whatever. So
it does. The last hour goes at
So was listening, and they're having this discussion about, can you be the face of a league if you aren't winning titles or threatening to win titles? And that's not entirely what my question for you would be, but they were coming up with some examples, and one of them was Allen Iverson. They claimed, I don't know that I agreed with all of this. He
wasn't the face of the league.
They claimed that he was the face of the NBA for a 2-year period during Jordan's like wizard time.
So 2001 and 2002.
Yeah, they said it was over Kobe and Shaq because those two split each other, and that AI's popularity amongst like celebrities and culture was higher than Kobe at that specific point.
That's a good argument.
Yeah, no, their arguments were not
it's
like
compelling,
willy-nilly made up.
Yeah.
And the other one that they used, and this one I completely agreed with, was Ken Griffey Jr. was the face of baseball in the 90s because he was effortlessly the most popular player in the sport.
He was the coolest guy.
And so that, I'm glad you used that word, that led to this question that I have for you now. Right now, in all of athletics, who is the coolest? Because Ken Griffey Jr. was the coolest guy in baseball and maybe the coolest guy in sports, especially at a time when Michael Jordan had retired for a couple years in there. I would argue there was probably no cooler athlete in the 90s at that time than Ken Griffey Jr. with the backwards hat and the bubble gum and the home runs and all of it. Who is the coolest athlete in 2026 in athletics?
You want a good one?
I thought about this for so long.
I got one that came right to the top of my head.
I have no idea.
You're looking at him on the screen right now.
No. You don't even get people that like golf who enjoy that guy.
What? Those people are nuts. Scotty Scheffler is so cool. He is like like being cool is being chill, bro. He's aura maxing. Okay, so he's mogging everyone.
I understand where you're coming from with that, but I'm like, there are people that like golf that don't enjoy Scotty Scheffler because they find him boring. They find his game boring. They find like every now and then he has moments like he had with the reporter the other day. But for the most part, he's regarded as more boring than certainly other guys within the sport.
All right. That was just one because, I mean, conveniently, he was hitting a golf shot while
he had the comment the other day.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, one, because of the era that we're in, we are certainly losing our personalities in sports to a degree because you're getting a lot more like corporate talk.
Oh, there's a lot of people who are very on the internet and kind of try hardy and, you know, all that stuff. Like you have to just not care kind of about that stuff.
I don't know that there's anyone that seems effortlessly cool in the way that Griffey was, or just cool in the way that Allen Iverson would have been, or even the people that were winning at the time. You know, then they got into their whole like face of the league conversations. But like, I can't think of a football player that just
Josh Allen.
I like him a lot. Is he like cool? Is Josh Allen cool?
So he's cool.
Patrick Mahomes decidedly uncool.
He's cool in the same way that Scheffler's cool.
Okay. I can probably buy that argument.
He's just kind of an every guy.
He's cool in the like, I can't believe he just did that.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. None of those guys seem like they're cool.
No, those guys are cool.
They're cool, but are they like?
But you have to. There's different. I guess there's different like layers to this. There's like a, cool in like the effortless way in which they move on the football field. Which Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are like, they're crazy. That is nuts what they do. Like what I explained with Scheffler and Josh Allen is like, they're kind of just like dudes, you know, who feels like, yeah, I could have a beer with that guy, or he could, in another life, he's my friend and he's not a star NFL player or golfer, you know? So that's the kind of cool they are. That's a different kind of cool than like Allen Iverson was like culture, like he was a cultural thing.
Allen Iverson would be more the Randy Moss.
And level. Griffey was like a cultural thing. Is there a guy who has that type of feel to them right now?
I couldn't come up with anybody, really. I can't think of anybody in basketball. LeBron's too polarizing. Steph is maybe the closest.
Steph, is a good answer.
I feel like that's he's basically towards the end of his career.
He's in the twilight for
Joey,
sure.
you got thoughts?
Anything?
No, I was thinking people will probably throw Jalen Brunson into the question or in consideration.
Joey's thoughts are
I love Brunson.
Someone would mention the Knicks, and I do not like this.
McMaster texted me Anthony Edwards.
Is he a big enough name?
Not yet. Not
I
yet.
mean, he's incredibly good.
Yeah. I don't know. Think about that a little bit more. There's got to be a baseball guy, right? Maybe not.
Is Shohei cool?
Yes. Shohei is cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani.
Perfect, Joey. Well done.
Check this out.
All right. We'll take a quick break and be back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Hi, everybody. Harry Carey here.
I got a couple things on the who's the coolest athlete. I got a text that says Wemby. Is Wemby's getting close.
Not yet.
It feels like we're like a year or two away from him being like a cultural thing.
He's not.
His like flame out in the finals hurt his coolness though.
Yes, it did. It definitely did.
For Joey especially.
Joey was never going to say no.
But I mean,
to
like
that.
he didn't shake hands, like the sort of the flopping, he attacked SB winner Jalen Brunson.
Yeah. Maybe the new era of star, you're only cool if you flop around and try and draw fouls. SGA.
You're probably only cool if you're not
SGA
trying
is
to be cool, by the way.
Is SGA cool? Because I feel like people hate SGA
Not cool.
because the
He's
way
cooler
he
than
plays.
Wemby.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think that's true. Wemby's cooler than SGA.
I don't think that would stand up to any
He would
sort
not
of
let the
polling.
Knicks win the finals.
Joey thinks
I'm sorry,
just
Peter, for rooting against your Thunder in the conference
so
finals.
Singularly, Joey's just like, if this is about
I
the
should have
Knicks
known.
winning, I'm
Is
out.
Jason Tatum cool?
Yes, he is cool.
Okay.
Jason Tatum?
People just call him Corey because of some weird antics he does, but he's not done a bad thing in all of his career.
I'll be honest with you.
He became a father at 19 as well, so he kind of grew mature right off the bat.
So he's a cool dad.
That is the age of person I'm looking for. I like going into almost 30, right? Like going into their prime. Like this is what they're going to be. Like it's not Jason Tatum because he's not cool enough, but that's about the type of person I'm looking for. A guy who's been around for a while, so the public has decided one way or the other on this person. And
Apparently the Celtics don't think Jaylen Brown's cool.
He's a little older than this. Would Bryce Harper have qualified in the last couple of years?
Yes.
Bryce Harper's cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, here's a good mention in the
Bryce
chat.
Harper came. JJ Watt. I mean, Josh Hodson sitting in his chair right now is falling over. But Bryce Harper and JJ Watt are both.
JJ Watt was never cool.
JJ Watt was cool, man.
Never cool.
Speaking of
She was
cool,
corny as hell. I can't do it.
speaking of coolness, there's a mention in the chat from Matthew. Erling Haaland.
Yeah, he's cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's cool.
he's cool for all the newborns.
So, is
He's
he
cool
actually
just for
tall,
soccer.
or does he have a man bun and is the tallest guy in a soccer field? Is he actually tall?
I think he's tall.
He's pretty tall.
Somebody check out the height on that.
6'5".
That's tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
It's just
Messi's cool.
and he's short.
Messi's cool. Ronaldo, not cool.
No, he's not cool.
Much less. Cool.
Ronaldo is very divisive. He's in the LeBron category.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a look at me kind of guy. He wants people to notice him.
I think you're
I
right.
mean, if I look like that, I would want people to notice me too. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah.
We got an email that said Otani. You know, of course, we're talking about this guy.
Shohei Otani. And the SB award goes to, check this out, Shohei Otani.
Do you have the clip of the just to check this out?
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can-
Check this out.
There we go. We might need a segment that's just called that.
I know. I just want to play it over and over and over again. It's too good. Okay, I have some great question. Thank you, Rob Parker and his host.
Well, they didn't have that question. They had a different one,
Thank
but
you,
it
Mike
led to that
Schaefer.
question.
Thank you, Fairly Odd Couple.
Yeah, Fairly Odd Couple coming through for us.
Thank you, Mike Schaefer. Oh, Aaron writes in on the Equitable Bank inbox. Paul Skeens.
Is he
This
cool?
is good. Oh yeah, Paul Skeens is cool.
Is he cool?
He's
because
kind of cool in an effortless
So, okay,
way. He's
he's
kind of
got a
an
very
idiot.
notable-
He's got a hot girlfriend.
Yeah, very
Yep.
notable girlfriend. He is outstanding as a baseball pitcher. He's incredibly robotic as a interview and as a personality.
He's opening up a little bit.
Someone
You're-
did an interview with him and it got him about as open as I think he can get.
You're starting to see a little personality.
Baseball
It's
players
been
are
a-
tough.
it's
'cause
been a
you get
long run.
You get a lot more guys that are just really sort of not media people.
Yeah.
Like Corey Kluber's incredible pitcher. He's not a great interview.
Skeens was he's like, I throw baseball hard. That's what I do.
You're joking, but it's like, yeah, I throw by it.
So really all he needs to do is just to show any sort of personality.
Sure.
Because he's got all the other stuff.
Right.
He's great at his sport. He has the famous girlfriend. And all he needs to do is show just a little smidge of personality, and he could like absolutely shoot up this list like crazy.
Probably not being Pittsburgh would help him too.
Well, if you get your way, much like the fake news media was, you send him to New York.
I would be fine if he stayed in Pittsburgh. I'm saying that caps like some of it for him.
Maybe I don't know. It
Can you
didn't
be
cap.
cool in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, of course.
We'll have to ask Matt when he's there in 10 years.
It didn't cap Griffey. You know, he was in Seattle.
Yeah, but Seattle's cool.
Pittsburgh's cool in a Seattle way.
Is it?
In a different way, but you know.
I mean, part of it is Seattle in the 90s.
Yes, you could be cool in Pittsburgh.
Seattle in the 90s was very specifically cool in a way that Pittsburgh has never been.
Sidney Crosby was cool.
Yeah, he's fine.
He played in Pittsburgh.
He did play in Pittsburgh.
Aaron Donald played in Pittsburgh.
He became way more cool in L.A.
Way more cool in other places, but yes, you're right.
He did play at Pittsburgh.
Poll question:
for Pat Narduzzi, who's coached for a long time.
Can you be cool in Pittsburgh?
That's a great poll.
I love Pittsburgh personally.
I want to go to Pittsburgh.
I have great memories of Pittsburgh.
Okay, yeah.
Great 1-2 basketball games there.
Many sandwiches consumed.
And of course,
Jason Green
had a put back dunk. Let's go to the phones on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here's Eric. Hi, Eric. What's up?
Hey, guys. I got one name for you that should be growing up your list, but it's going to take a little bit. But he's got the personality. But Pete Crow Armstrong for the Chicago Cubs.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it.
He was a lot of fun, mic'd up the other day. I enjoyed that.
He seems sort of polarizing.
Well, I probably can't say what he said to a fan and not be slightly polarizing.
Yes.
So
he's not a fan of bachelorette parties.
There's an edge to him that maybe a little hardened where it's not going to be cool, but you know.
Let me ask you this. There's Cubs fans listening. Do Cubs what is our love level of?
It's high.
Pete Crow.
He's
their tiny baby son.
Our Cubs crossover guy.
Like me, I'm like a 10 out of 10 on I Love Bobby Wood Jr.
Sure.
Is it that high for Pete Crow Armstrong and Cubs fans?
I think after he had the bad slump at the start of the year where people were ready to give up on him, and then now he had the massive June and he's having like a big year. Yeah, I think they're 10 out of 10 on him.
Okay.
Maybe not in the same way though.
How we see Pete Crow Armstrong slander on the internet.
Right. It's hard though, because your 10 out of 10 is Bobby Witt did something that almost no one ever does. He chose to sign a big contract to stay in Kansas City.
This is definitely part of the reason why I love
So
him.
there's that too. Like a guy choosing a big contract in Chicago is not quite the same.
That is true. All right. Good topic alert. Let us know if you have any more thoughts on that. 402-951-1620. I was thinking about Anthony Calandria last night.
Well, I was trying to come up with cool athletes. You were coming up with Anthony Calandria stats.
So I was thinking that there is basically no way where this works where he's not the complete center of the offense, right? There is no
unless
world.
He's hurt.
Right. Of course, if he's not playing, that is definitely a reason why. There is no world in where he's just like being a distributor. You know, the original thought on what Nebraska was going to do with that position, especially with Dylan Raiola, was the quarterback's just kind of, going to distribute. I think it would have been the same thing with Kenny Minchie, right? They make some plays, whatever it is, but they are a cog in the wheel. Mm-hmm. This is the wheel. All right. This is the wheel. Anthony Calandria.
Nebraska's reinvented the wheel, and it's called Calandria.
His name is Calandria. And so I looked up last night. Okay, so first of all, Severe mentioned, and this is what sort of got my brain going. Severe mentioned this to me when he was in last week, and I hadn't really thought about it deeply. Did you know he was 2 years ago when he was a starter at Virginia, he got sacked 39 times?
I think I knew that only because Michael told me.
39 times.
Right.
39 times. And then last year he got sacked.
An average of 3 a game.
He got sacked 25 times.
Or a little more than that, yeah.
25 times last year. So 39 times he got sacked in 11 games, by the way, in 2024. 39 in 11 games.
Wow.
And he had a loss of 253 sack yards off that. So sack-adjusted rush yards, he had 530 rush yards in 2024 for Virginia. In 2025 at UNLV, he ran for 649 anyway. Remember, he got sacked 25 times. So that is 828 yards on the ground.
We really need to campaign to get college football to not make the sack part of the rushing total for quarterbacks. I know
agree.
this is a big topic for some stats people.
And we're talking about teams that were pretty balanced in terms of whether they ran or passed. So in 2024 at Virginia, they were 51% run. At 2025 at UNLV, they were 53.5% run that year. We're talking about Calandria. Not only, I mean, obviously he was the Mountain West Player of the Year, having all the yards that he passed for last year on top of almost 1,000. I mean, almost 1,000. I guess it's stretching it a little bit. We're
29 is 30.
Sack adjusted over 800 yards rushing, which means he was going, you know, like he's the center focal point of Nebraska's offense. And I think people need to sort of understand that and maybe, you know, so for as much talk as there has been about Calandria, there could be more because he's going to be the offense for Nebraska.
It's really interesting putting into context what those, 64 sacks do to the overall rushing numbers that he actually provided in the last couple seasons, because you go back and you look and it's like, oh, he had a big jump because he went to UNLV. Well, yeah, that was part of it, but also he got sacked 14 less times and for however many less yards. So then you got to actually see that production more on the baseline stat.
And remember, he passed the ball 417 times last year and completed 275 of them for almost 3,500 yards. 34.
He's not a wheel. He's like an engine.
Dude, he's the whole thing. He's the whole car.
I don't know why I've never thought about like how much extra yardage wouldn't be accounted for because of the sacks.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why he won Mountain West Player of the Year last year. He passed for 3,500 yards and ran for sack adjusted at more than 800. Now, what it says in his stat category is that he only ran for 649 last year, but it was 10 touchdowns on top of that. He passed for 23 touchdowns last year. So 33 total touchdowns last year. I mean, I get it. It's UNLV compared to what it's going to be at Nebraska. And I know that some of his stats will just look worse because of the quality of competition that he's going up against. But here's the point that I was trying to make. Throughout his entire career, whether he's been at Virginia or UNLV over his 3 years, and really he's been the starter. He was on and off the starter in 23, but he was the starter for all of 24 and he was the starter for all of 25. He has been the offense. And so that will hold. You can't just take that guy and say, "Yeah, you're going to be a cog in the wheel, and we'll do this with our running backs, and we'll throw out screens or whatever it is." You're going to live and die with this guy. This is going to be the roller coaster that Nebraska's on this year, and it will start and end with Calandria, unless he's hurt.
Really, what this does? How many rushing touchdowns do you think he can end up with?
So he had. It's funny.
He had 10 last year,
and he only had 1 the year before that.
Two is what it shows.
2, excuse me. Yes, it was 2. Yeah. Which is sort of weird. He was sacked so much in 2024. I mean, he was sacked 40 times. 39 is 40. So he was sacked 40 times, which is absolutely nuts. Can I say 10?
I think 10 seems like a good number. Yeah.
And he's going to pass for 20 touchdowns at least, right?
As much as I have hammered home like skepticism of Dana Holgorsen and all of it, having that option in the red zone, which they did not have with Dylan, and they really didn't have with TJ Lateef because he ended up getting hurt, so he didn't utilize his legs in the same way.
TJ Lateef.
That, in effect, could just help Nebraska's offense so much. Just having that ability inside the red zone where you can score these touchdowns because either he's getting out on a sack or getting away from a sack attempt and scrambling, or it's a designed run where you have to account for, if a running back emerges, or you have to account for the quarterback on a zone read in that
It's
area.
Really important.
Or just an RPO where you can pull it out and throw it to somebody.
Matthew asked on YouTube, will he lead the team in rushing? I think there's a chance of that. I think there is a chance. Now, obviously, you have the sack adjusted stuff. So in his 2 years as a starter, he was the second leading ball carrier at UNLV last year. Even with the sacks adjusted. So if you add the sacks in, he was still second at UNLV last year. If you add the sacks in at Virginia, I believe he was the leading rusher that year. But sack adjusted, he was the second at Virginia in 2024. He is going to be the offense I can't emphasize this enough. He is at the very least going to be Nebraska's second leading, ball carrier this year. Potentially the leading ball carrier.
Yeah, it'd be hard for me to imagine him as the leading one.
I don't think they want to live in that world, but it's possible.
The biggest fear that I've had with Calandria this entire time is that he's going to play in a conference with incredibly large humans. And at least, he's listed at 6 foot, 205 pounds.
He's a tiny baby.
And so, those hits will start to add up. But if he's able to survive it, there's a world where he can give you a better production than like a Mark Gronowski did, at least in terms of passing last year for Iowa. Probably not as many touchdowns. Gronowski had 16 touchdowns on 130 carries.
But so Gronowski is interesting as far as it's not a great comp for me just because the way those two guys are built and the way they ran.
Gronowski's 2 inches taller and 20 pounds.
Gronowski ran and what eventually Adrian Martinez ended up being at Nebraska. They ran between the tackles. Right. They ran for power. They ran like running backs.
And that's a big reason why I'm skeptical of Iowa this year is I don't know how they replaced. He did so much for them.
And so Calandria is a little bit different. And
scramble.
Just the stuff that I've seen on him, he doesn't get squared up a lot. He's kind of like Emmett in that way. Just have a hard time kind of catching him because he's got a small frame to hit, and he's pretty shifty and athletic, and he's usually outside the pocket, so he's usually in the open field. So the staying healthy part is obviously a part of this, but I do think he's at less risk than a guy like Martinez.
Yeah,
just because of the way
more of a battering
just
ram.
The way he runs. Yeah. But he is going to be. Here's your offense. It's Anthony Calandria.
Can he get to 30 total touchdowns?
Yeah,
I think that's. I mean, if you're getting that, that's huge.
Yeah,
it really is.
Whether it's good or bad,
right?
This is it. This is the whole engine. Black Cat says can't wait for the Heisman talk after week 3. He should have some stats after week 3.
Yeah, another reason why I feel good about the opening 3 games. None of those teams return much defensively.
Yeah. He should be at 12 total touchdowns after the first 3 weeks.
Sounds about right. I was thinking 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Depending on how much they play them.
12 touchdowns, two picks after the first, how many of them are passing, how many of them are rushing, but that's where he should be after 3 weeks.
Can't wait.
Look at his stats. He's better than Josh Hoover.
We're going to have this segment where we're just going through what happens first. And it's like Calandria turnover, Calandria touchdown.
Uh-huh.
Which one are you going with? You don't have to do it right now. I'm just saying, before the start of the season.
Calandria touchdown, probably. Yeah. Against Indiana, maybe it's different.
But they could win the game.
They could. They have a small % chance to win that game. All right, when we come back, it's time to free ball it a little bit before we get out of here on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Our Salvation Army backpack drive, the 7-can back-to-school backpack program going on right now until August 3rd at select Methodist Health Systems locations, Metro Credit Unions, Cubby's convenience stores, and Salvation Army locations. You know, the regular back-to-school stuff, backpacks, rulers, notebooks, erasers, glue, crayons, colored pencils, other writing utensils. More than 250,000 backpacks have been given away over the life of the program. So please help if you can. Find more details at 1620thezone.com on how and where you can donate to the Salvation Army backpack drive. All right. Let's free ball it a little bit. We have topics.
Free balling.
Yep. Joey, get on that if you want to.
I got it.
You got a lot of stuff. Joey's got a lot of stuff to get
Accountability.
on. Accountability. I have a lot in the accountability session.
I have a good chunk as well.
All right, good.
But anyway, let's dive into free balling. Another game, another complaint about officiating from Caitlin Clark in the Indiana Fever after she played through an apparent injury following a collision at the rim that went uncalled, similar to the Creighton call, probably, according to Schaefer. Anyway, why does everything feel like Groundhog Day with the WNBA right now?
It does. That's a great way to put it.
It's like every day. It's
Every
the same
night.
thing.
Every night there's something with Caitlin Clark, and there's something like I don't even know at what point their season they're at right now. Did you see the whole beef the other day with Dan Patrick and the commissioner?
No, I haven't seen that.
Thank you, Dana Holgerson. Yeah, so Dan Patrick went on this long thing about they were at Tahoe for that golf tournament, and they were going to have the commissioner of WNBA on, Kathy Engelbert, and she was all scheduled and whatever, and she was going to do it from her hotel room, and then at the last second they pulled the plug, and Dan Patrick went on this whole thing about how you can't be taken serious as a league because you won't answer questions that people care about and stuff like that. And, then people started getting after Dan Patrick because they felt like he was on his high horse, which he sometimes is. And that happens. But there, every day, to your point, Schaefer, every day there's like something with the WNBA where you're like, this is not about anything that's going on the court right now.
Yeah. So they're at the midway point, roughly, at this point right now. So their all-star game, I think, is coming up. It seems, as someone who doesn't even consume the product, that you hear about or see something related to the WNBA, which has nothing to do with the on-court action, or if it does, it's complaining about the officiating and specifically how unprotected Caitlin Clark is.
100%.
And then she is the most popular player in the league, and so you have that aspect of it. And yet,
she could go on our cool list.
She could. She definitely could. She probably ventures more in the polarizing category for some people because it's so weird how this is going, where she's clearly the most popular player in that league.
Yeah.
Like, without question.
Yeah.
And yet there's people within the confines of the league that are like, yeah, it's maybe a top 15 player. She's, like they're just doing.
There is a question on if she is the best.
I don't know if she is.
She's probably not the best player in the league.
Right.
But she's one of the top 10.
Yeah.
She's one of the top probably 5. And that's all
there's
there's
people like someone in their league coming in. Well, she's maybe one of the top 15 guards. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. She's definitely one of the top 15 guards.
It just amazes me because this league, it's kind of parroting the NBA where it's like you have all of this stuff and yet the people that talk about the NBA maybe couldn't even tell you who the best records in the league are at this time because it's, again, they're so hyper-focused on the personalities or the officiating or the league at large that the individual results of games don't matter.
Black Cat, who does watch the WNBA, he says there's a lot of good basketball that does not get discussed thanks to Caitlin Clark. Olivia Miles should be getting legit MVP talk as a rookie, and no one knows who the bleep she even is. Yeah. That is true. I don't.
And then she doesn't even get taken number 1 overall because there's a whole potential thing going on where the team that went number 1,
Paige Beckers.
Yeah. It's a fascinating league to have absolutely no interest in and just hear about from time to time.
100%.
And so I wanted to throw that in there because
it feels like Groundhog Day.
It really does.
It 100% does.
The ACC is turning to body of work to determine its tiebreakers in the future if head-to-head isn't applicable for the conference championship games because of the odd number of games and teams that might play more conference games. Connor and Mike, what's the likelihood this still ends in controversy and complaining?
So when I saw this yesterday, it was right about this time yesterday where the ACC put out their tiebreakers, and I saw it, and I'm like, I'm not reading that. I'm not wasting my time on this because I know it's going to turn into like a thing and all those different things. So what did they actually do?
So they have an analytical system that will determine the best body of work should they get into a spot like they had this past year. We had 5 teams, and I don't know what their previous tiebreaker was, but so that will determine because they want the best teams in their conference championship game because there's an automatic representative now in the college football playoff. What fascinates me is that I somehow didn't realize that they have an odd number of teams in their conference when they are playing football.
Awesome.
That seems like something that you can rectify by adding someone as a football only member and then going to having an even amount of teams, because what it does is you have some people playing 9 conference games and some people playing 8.
You could just go back to divisions.
Well, do they not have divisions anymore? Did they get rid of those?
I
thought they got rid of them.
I think they have divisions, but they don't matter as it pertains to who gets to play in the conference title game. Like they only matter in terms of scheduling. I think they'll quote.
So they loosely have groupings for scheduling.
I believe that is the groups.
And then that would, and Joey, like you can speak to this. The idea of scheduling when you have an odd number of teams just throws everything off.
It does. There's a lot of
and this is
equations
why,
to this.
You know, where we have these mega conferences.
Either kick someone out or add someone.
Or add someone to get to the point where you can have like, a pod system or 4 different divisions inside your own thing. And that way,
divisions?
People just want to know what they have to do in order to get to the ACC title game or the conference title game and have it not be ambiguous.
You have a good body of work.
Who do I? That's not specific enough. I want it to be more specific.
Jim Phillips says it is.
I want it to be specific. If you put Nebraska in a division with Iowa, with Minnesota, with Wisconsin, with Illinois, with Purdue, whatever, like you make that Big Ten West again, I now know what Nebraska has to do to get to the Big Ten championship game and win their division, and thus be one step away from the college football playoff. That's what people want to know.
Yeah.
And so until we refigure that out again, we're going to be in this weird zone where it's like, oh, we're going to depend on these rankings that are just made up by our own system.
Everything old is new again. BCS, body of work, handshake.
Yep. Do we have another one or two?
Yes, we do. Former Nebraska basketball coach Tim Miles returned to Lincoln over the weekend to spend time with Fred Hoiberg and Nate Lesnar. We've now had Danny Nee, Frank Solich, and Miles return in recent years. So who among Bill Callahan, Bo Pelini, or Scott Fra returns first?
Great question.
They all seem like never.
Bill Callahan.
Ooh, okay.
It's not Bo. It's not Bo. And until Frost gets his lawsuit settled.
He might have to come and collect his big novelty check. You want your money? Come get it.
Yeah, come get it. I got your $2.5 million check right
no
here.
No ACH for you.
It's in between my butt cheeks.
I don't know that any of these guys are coming back.
My gut says Callahan because it seemed. I mean, he's had like a life after.
Sure.
You know, they all have.
From what I understand, he still has no interest in discussing his Nebraska tenure at all.
That's so wild.
Maybe he'll get to the point where he wants to be reflective on stuff, or he might just have a personality and
or write a memoir.
You've talked to people, you've interviewed people that aren't reflective. Like they don't want to talk about what they've done because it's in the past and they can't change any of it. And so they don't dwell on it, think about it, or even want to discuss it.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't understand those people, and they make my job harder. They previously would have made my job a lot harder.
Yeah.
Less so in this industry, but
we might get a memoir in the style of Bill Moose from Bill Callahan.
Maybe.
I would be interested in that.
I would too.
Bill Callahan
Mr. Osborne says,
the further we get from it, the more the Callahan era fascinates me.
Well, I mean, it's the question sticks out like a sore thumb. Like he had so many things going for him, and then the question
why couldn't he just move on from Kevin Cosgrove?
So the first question actually is why didn't it work? And then you get past that first step, and you're like, oh, he probably should have fired Kevin Cosgrove. And then you're like, why didn't he do that? Yeah.
Pretty much.
So I think it's Billy State football.
Okay.
I think.
For some reason,
also he has the added advantage of it's been more time. He was first.
Could Will Compton get Bo Pelini back to Nebraska?
Didn't they do the podcast and he was like, "I'm not going." I
don't remember.
It's never happened.
I never listened to it.
He might have said stuff.
I want that. I think people here want that.
Well, in the same way with the Franks, so they can feel better about how it all went down.
Exactly. Who do you want to patch it up with the most?
It'd be Frost because he's a national championship quarterback for you. I think the worst outcome that played out of all of that would be if he absolutely has nothing to do with a place where he won a national title. And he was an instrumental part of winning that national
Certainly
title.
looking that way.
And it looks that way.
We're trending there.
Subsequent Brett McMurphy interviews seem to, that it's going to go that way. We'll see.
That's crazy.
We'll see.
But yes, Tim Miles. I saw
a great story by Robin. Check it out on 3 at Husker Online. That was it was fun to read that. The quotes from Tim Miles about how he could feel the hairs standing up on his arms when Nebraska was leading Troy in the second half. What it meant to him as someone who wasn't able to accomplish it but got to witness it happen. How happy he was for Fred Hoiberg and Nate Lenzer. Why he was there. All of that's in that article. It's a great read. You should check it out.
He said he was asked about Nebraska's, watching Nebraska's, first NCAA tournament win, and they're running the tournament in general. He said, every year I was in Pinnacle Bank Arena, which was my last 6 years, it was 15,000 every night, and they were loyal. They showed up for us. They supported us, and we weren't good every year. I know that. Even Fred wasn't good every year, and they kept showing up. To see that loyalty rewarded was super cool. It gave me chills and my hair stand up on my arms. It made me well up with tears. It was just super cool. I wish I could have done it for them. There's no doubt about that, but I didn't, and I'm happy Fred and his staff did. It was so cool to watch, and Nebraska deserved that. Nebraska basketball deserved that. Tim Miles. That's a guy who could come back whenever he wants.
He kept his house in Lincoln, was continually back in the summers, even with
Doc could come back whenever he wants.
Doc famously came back as an assistant coach.
Doc did a press conference after he got fired.
There's a big difference between being fired at Nebraska basketball and being fired at Nebraska football.
Riley could come back.
Does Creighton have anybody that can't come back or wouldn't come back?
I mean, they've only had 2 coaches my entire life.
Would come to mind,
basically. Yeah.
Is there a player that it ended so poorly that they just would never return to Omaha?
We did see P. Allen Stinnett at the college basketball crown, which was kind of crazy if you think about how that ended 15 years ago. I mean, so I didn't see that one coming, but he seemed very happy to be wearing his own Creighton jersey, a replica of his own Creighton jersey. There's probably a few, but I have a hard time thinking of them off the top of my head right now, who would just not be invited.
Owen Freeman.
They can't. Oh, maybe. I always liked Owen. But I knew him, so I don't know. People did not like Owen. NIL era makes it tough, man.
It does.
Mike Riley could come back though.
Yeah, I didn't even include him because who would? You give him a reason, he'd probably come back.
I don't know what the reason would be.
Right. Hey, you want to celebrate the 2016 season?
You think Ryan Nemhard would come back after leaving?
Oh, good one
from that Elite Eight run.
Or
Arthur Kaluma.
Wasn't there a big rumor that he wanted to come back and Creighton wasn't interested in bringing him back after everything that went down?
Oh, after his year?
After his year at Gonzaga.
I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I don't know. But they, that they had so much success in 23 that it was just all right, it sucked to have them all break up, but 2 years later, you're yeah, this is an all-time great team. So I'm not going to say
right.
Even though they all, him and Kaluma left or whatever, you don't hate them.
Sure.
But it's weird. It's weird. Those are good examples. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back and finish things up after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, it's time for accountability. That's right. Our last segment of the show is called accountability, and I spaced the open yesterday. I had it in my brain. I still have it. I just have to actually produce it. So we'll come up with something at some point. Also, stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll have our all-century team, which will be interesting. Curious to see where everybody goes.
Quarter century team, sort of.
Well, I mean, it's all-century so far.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You're right, actually.
All-century. Do you just get half of? I mean, I know who's not your all-century quarterback.
I know who is.
I know who's not on your all-century offensive coordinator.
Oh,
we do not include coaching.
No, I don't think so.
I don't want to mess with that.
Although the all-century head coach is.
That'd be a debate.
It's Bo, right?
From a wins and loss perspective, yeah. I don't know if I want him coaching my team, though. I might just go with interim coach Barney Cotton for the vibe.
All-century defensive coordinator is...
that could be Bo.
That's probably Bo.
Yeah, I'm fine with that being Bo.
All-century offensive coordinator is...
Check this out.
Beck?
It's Tim Beck, I guess. I like Danny Langsdorff.
Can I get Bill Callahan's offense with Tim or with Bo
somehow
defense?
Yeah, I don't know. This all of a sudden became hard. No coaches. No coaches.
That's the easiest response.
All right, accountability. Does anybody have some accountability that they'd like to offer today?
Things that I mismanaged today. I didn't get my muff at the start of the show, and then therefore there was some awkward, heavy breathing that occurred throughout the show, apparently.
Maybe I'm the only one who hears it, but when I hear it, it is just the loudest thing in my ears.
Butterfly really wants you.
So, yeah, there's a...
What's up, boy? Come get some.
Other things that I need to be accountable for. The evening show is The Odd Couple, not The Fairly Odd Couple.
Yeah.
I can't promise I'm not going to refer to them as The Fairly Odd Couple, especially now that I am aware that I am making this mistake. I might just lean into it.
I'm not mad at that. Yeah, that's
and then one time today, I did not press the microphone button for on when I tried to speak.
Yeah, good job.
That's a pretty complete list of accountability. Thank you for being accountable.
I am accountable.
Joey, you said you had a laundry list of things.
Well, I said I've been brainstorming stuff for opens, and I haven't really put in any of the work at the moment. But another thing was it happened a few hours ago when I was running to get those Mike Tyson clips.
That was the one I was going to mention.
I tripped over the chair that's behind me. I'm glad I caught myself because I probably got myself.
Joey comes flying back into the room.
I got tripped from out there.
I mean,
went through the door.
He was a flash through the window that I could see out of my peripheral.
We're not even close to coming back on the air. What's happening?
I didn't have a sense of time, so I was assuming that I was running very short on time, so that I got here as quick as I can.
You blasted through the door like the Kool-Aid man.
You need a big clock elsewhere in the building.
I do. I need a big break clock in the office just so I know how much time I got left remaining. I need a countdown clock.
Chair and you nearly biffed it. You could have lost a tooth or something like that.
Oh yeah, that would have been bad.
And it was all.
I would probably need Peter to fill in for the rest of the show.
It was all for this.
And the ESPY award goes to. Check this out. Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei could not be here tonight. He sends his gratitude and appreciation to ESPN and everyone who voted for him.
That's okay. No, it's good because then you could just stop it whenever. But yeah.
Shohei Ohtani.
I think it was worth it. My accountability today is what? What do I need to hold myself accountable for today?
Good luck with that, Dan.
I don't. I'm not doing this as a bit.
You mentioned that you didn't make the accountable open.
I didn't make the accountability.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
You did prevent yourself from pressing the wrong button at least once.
Save that.
So that's
accountability. I almost did it.
Yep. I don't think there was any factual errors that occurred today.
There was no trophy naming misconceptions.
That is true. I didn't like smack the mic in a weird way or anything like that. Sometimes guilty for that.
I think I finally have it set up at the right height level that I can get to my computer without hitting my microphone.
That's good.
Which has been like it's a challenge. Like we're in a different spot. Like everything's slightly different.
I had some difficulty staying on because my camera used to be off kilter to my left,
mm-hmm.
and now it's dead on. So I have to consciously stay in the middle. Otherwise, it bothers me because I'm a big I just want to be right.
Yeah, it's not wedged in like.
Yeah, got to be rule of thirds, baby.
It's not wedged in like the pole at the apartment down in Houston.
It is not. That is true. So it's straight on. So you got to
took accountability.
Sometimes I'm off kilter a little bit.
Yeah,
and
the neighbor was very understanding.
Very cool.
That's my accountability. Thank you, Mike Tyson.
Shohei Ohtani.
All right, that'll do it for us today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Time for the crossover coming up next.